podcast is intended for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed are those of the panelists and do not reflect in any way those of the podcast partners, sponsors, or affiliates. Enjoy.
Hi, this is Michael Buffer, and you're listening to the Voice of the People. Let's get ready for Boxing Voice.
Every day I'm hustling.
Hey, Dad.
Every day I'm hustling.
You fight with nobody.
This a dollar beat.
BoxingWords.com.
You won the belt with nobody.
Daddy.
BoxingWords.com.
This a dollar beat.
You never gonna get the fight, man. You're a horrible fighter. Payday,
BoxingWords.com.
payday. You want payday. I know that. Oh, look this guy. There's a plan to go for the belt, and I'm coming, man. I'm coming, my friend. Get the fuck out of here, man. Please, get the fuck out of here, man.
BoxingWords.com.
Because I'm gonna fuck you out right now, motherfucker.
BoxingWords.com.
Good morning, TBV. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another morning edition with the Boxing Voice Radio. I am your host, Nestor Gibbs, joined alongside Ringwalk Danny himself and George, formerly from HBO,
Yes, sir.
Jakovic.
Said it right.
Oh, shit. We got it. We're here this morning to talk some boxing. Hopefully you join us. You know the number to call in, 1-425-569-5241. Right here above my head. It'll be there quite often. Whenever you want to call in, pick up the phone, either cell phone or landline. You can also add Nestor Gibbs on Skype to be part of the conversation from anywhere in the world. We're going to be talking about Michael Coppinger's red hot button topic. I mean, it's burning the industry boxing streets for sure, because Canelo Alvarez has gotten two major offers, gentlemen. I'm sure you've heard the money that's being thrown around from Dazn. He's being thrown 85 to 100 million. According to Keith Idec, he doubled down on this, and he's saying that Dazn is looking to give Canelo upward of 100. Originally, Michael Coppinger reported that Dazn was trying to give Canelo $85 million for one fight with Dmitry Bivol on May 7th at 175 pounds, and then a second fight with Gennaidy Golovkin, which technically would be his third fight, for a trilogy fight, right, September 17th at 168. A division that Gennaidy had never fought in. Now, no agreement yet, and Canelo and GGG obviously both must win their next fights, but the offer from PBC and Al Heyman for $45 million to fight the 160-pound Jermall Charlo is still also on the table. One fight deal, $45 million. Two fight deal, $85. But again, Keith Idec coming out hours later saying this could get up to $100 million for Canelo on the DAZN side. So if you're Canelo, where you guys are going?
Well, obviously the $45 million from PBC is very enticing. I think the Jermall Charlo fight is the biggest fight that Canelo can take next. Obviously a fight that many fans have been calling for a very long time. So I really think that if you're Canelo, right now you're in a win-win situation, in the sense that maybe Al comes back like, you know what, we'll do a little bit more on the pay-per-view back end. Obviously the pay-per-view is a lot high, compared to DAZN. So I don't see DAZN putting like a Canelo and a Bivol on pay-per-view, right? It's not as big of a fight. Maybe the Triple G trilogy. But I think right now Canelo's in a win-win situation. If he takes that two-fight deal from Eddie and DAZN and Bivol, then Triple G, he'll be compensated very well. And then you have the Al Showtime deal. Obviously Canelo's last fight on Showtime. So it seems like Showtime's being more committed to wanting those big fights. They just stole the Spence Ugas, which was originally reported and widely speculated that would be a Fox pay-per-view.
No, I definitely thought Spence would remain on Fox.
So did I.
I hope that doesn't affect his numbers. You know, going to Showtime, it's a smaller audience. You know, they have less subscribers. They have subscribers where Fox is, you know, free television, right? So you get more of a promotional push with Fox.
In a sense, yes. And, you know, let's also remember, you know, Showtime is owned by CBS. So CBS is just as big of a network, if not bigger, than Fox in reality. And let's also remember that CBS purchased BoxingScene.com, which is
Sure did.
You know, so I feel like they're
But
not.
isn't that really the only like boxing move that they bust? Like, it's not like we see boxers paraded on CBS or Fox
Never.
Sports like that either. You know, if you got an ESPN deal with Bob Arum, you're doing better because you at least might end up on one of those programming shows for ESPN. But you know, with Fox, it's been very few and in between.
You know, the thing about Canelo, I mean, he's the cash cow. He drives the sport. Wherever he fights, he's going to get paid. And the thing that I love about Canelo is that he's a free agent, and he decides where he goes, and he'll get paid wherever he goes. And I wish more fighters could do that. I don't know if they can. You know, it's easier said than done.
Wanting to and doing is two different things.
I mean, back in the day, Sugar Ray Leonard did it. You know, but there's not many Sugar Ray Leonards out there. So, but you know, I don't know if I'm me as a fan, if I'm excited about Bivol or Triple G. And Triple G would have to win his next fight against Murata. There's no guarantee he would win that fight.
Absolutely.
So let's just be clear, because there's a lot of people out there that are confused, that are automatically assuming, like myself, that I paid $100. I get to see both of these Canelo fights. If he chooses to take the 85 to 100 million from DAZN, I get to see it for $883 a month because I paid the $100 a year subscription. That is not true. Both these fights are rumored to be on pay-per-view for DAZN as well. According to Keith Eidick, for anyone in the need of the clarification, Canelo and Bivol and Canelo Golovkin 3 would be pay-per-view fights. You're not getting it for your subscription price. So yes, the company, the promoter that touted death to the pay-per-view will do back-to-back pay-per-views to get return on their investment. It's the only way. It's the American way.
You know,
No, it's just funny because people like, oh, does PBC, they're killing you. But look, whenever a fight doesn't make financial sense, they throw it on pay-per-view.
you have to, right? You know, obviously talking those numbers that DAZN has never paid to a fighter.
Yes.
You got to be able to cover it. You know, even when you're doing 73,126 fans in AT&T Stadium, those ticket prices don't come out. You know, they make obviously more revenue on the pay-per-view. So you have to, and I guess the question would be, at what price does DAZN put it? You know, they've never done a pay-per-view. They recently introduced.
You know what they're going to do. They're looking at the Canelo 800,000 and they're pissed off. Because when Canelo fights on DAZN, they get 600,000 Americans. You know, all 600,000 of those are not $20 a month subscription because I am $883. So how many 883s are out there? You know, how many people are still locked into their $10 contract?
Yeah.
So they seen that money and they're like, what the fuck are we doing?
You knew that was going to happen. I mean, when DAZN came out and they said, you know, they all you heard was pay-per-view's a dinosaur. We don't do that.
Dying model.
We're not going to do that. It's a dying model. No, it's not. They're not doing things any differently than everyone else. PBC and DAZN, when they first came on, they were going to change boxing. They were going to do everything different.
Free boxing for all.
Right, but it's not. Now it's pay-per-view, so who's surprised? This is boxing. Who's surprised?
I'm not surprised because as a consumer of this sport for as long as I've been, I've grown to realize that I will end up paying for everyone's mistakes. You know, I want a certain fight. That fighter lost weight. I end up paying for his mistake. You know, I want a certain fight. The promoters can't put it together. I end up paying for that mistake. I end up paying for it on pay-per-view when they finally can put it together. It's like, you know, this is the only sport that truly tortures its fans. But I got Big Supermax all the way in Plainview, Texas. Stay warm, my friend, and safe on the road. Shout out to all my truck drivers. We need an official truck driver's horn because I swear that mine's is more like a freight horn. But he says, If Canelo wants 3 fights this year, why not Charlo in May, GGG in September, then Bivol in December, and get all the money? As a Canelo fan, I'm not interested in Bivol.
I don't know.
agree.
I don't know that he wants 3 fights. I know last year they had 3 fights last year, and they were saying how, and I think it was 4 and 13 months. They were saying how all of that caught up to them. 4 and 11 months. I'm sorry.
In terms of the body,
Yeah, just
wear and tear.
Wear and tear. And, from my understanding and what I've seen, they want to go 2 times this year. The traditional May and September.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Can you really walk away from another $40-50 million? Like, if you fight a third time,
It'll
that means
still be there, though. If he wins those fights,
it'll be there in the following calendar year.
I would be shocked. I agree with you. I'd be shocked if he fought 3 times.
I'm just saying, if you
in the
fight
calendar
3
year.
times and you're Canelo, right? They gave you 40 for Plant. They're giving you 45 now. They're gonna give you 50 in December.
They're gonna give it to him regardless.
But it won't be in the listen
No,
again. When you're a millionaire, you counting money hand over fist, and it's like, in 1 year I made 100 and something million versus in 1 year I made 60 million. That's all I'm saying, guys.
No.
I mean, Jake Paul did 40. Maybe Canelo wants to separate himself. I'm just saying.
No, I get what you're saying, but at this point, I feel like, is the money in a calendar year more important than being able to make? Because you know what I'm saying, he's getting up there in age.
It all depends. I mean, look, your first fight's Charlo. He's a 160 pounder.
Still a very a long-time champion, a very difficult fight.
No problem, but you are at an advantage. You're more experienced. You're the bigger puncher. It's proven that you're the bigger puncher, and you weigh more. Then your next fight, Gennaidy. I mean, he's fucking old.
I mean, only they know the wear and tear on Canelo's body in the camp.
True.
I think that they'll make the right call, the right business call, and if his body can handle it, I think he'll do it. But if they know they're there every day, if his body can't handle that, they won't do that just to make another
I'm just
payday.
saying, man. What was it? Emiliano Vargas, it sunk in. He's like, we're racehorses. When we can't run anymore, we're shot in the head. And that's all I'm saying. Like, you might as well make all you can make when you can make it. But we got another super chat from Matt Bent all the way in Kansas City. He says, TBV forever and every day. Well, thank you, my friend, TBV for life. You already know. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. It's going to help with the visibility of the show. It's going to put this episode in the eyes of other boxing fans, letting them know we're talking boxing 24/7. And you can call in to give us your opinion on this topic as well. It looks like we got Steven who's celebrating 15 months of membership and sends a message saying, I wanted Charlo, but won't turn down Bivol at all. It's a real good fight. Studio shows are fire. Shout out to Sticky Paws. We do love the studio. So, he's basically saying, I want Charlo, but hey, Bivol's not bad. I do not want Bivol. That should be the last person he picks. Agreed. I think he's the least marketable, the least popular. I mean, he's just not the fight. There's Charlo, there's Benavidez, there's Triple G, there's Eubank Jr., who looked phenomenal over the weekend. There's better fights.
Agreed. Bivol definitely, for me, it's the fight I want to see least. And Benavidez, I mean, maybe this is all leading up to a Benavidez fight. He's supposed to fight David Lemieux, reportedly. If he looks good in that fight, maybe when Canelo gets done with these
That's
next
for an
2
interim
fights,
title, by the way.
Right. So, I mean, that's a fight that, as a fan, I want to see the Benavidez-Canelo fight. Bivol had it's funny, they really built him up at one point. He was with HBO, and he was going to be the face of the light heavyweight division. He's still undefeated. He's 19-0, but I don't know. He's kind of fallen off. He hasn't fought any named fighters, and he doesn't, like, as a fan, he doesn't inspire me to watch him.
Yeah, no, absolutely. When he fought back in December, it was a homecoming fight, kind of like a stay busy fight. It goes a decision. He doesn't even drop him. It wasn't a close.
Then Callum comes in and sparks him.
Mm-hmm.
Same guy.
It's just
And by Callum, I mean Callum Smith,
Well,
former Canelo victim.
I think you're referring to Lenin Castillo.
Yeah, who you were referring to?
No, he fought Umar Salamov.
Oh, okay.
In December. It just wasn't a very entertaining fight to me. Do it the right way. Don't do a Roy where you go up to heavyweight, for the right opportunity and John Ruiz, and then come back down and your body's not the same. Take care of your business at 168. I don't care if it's one more year. Take care of the business at 168, and Bivol, Triple G, and then if the Benavidez fights presents itself, then that'd be great. And before moving up to light heavyweight, obviously, that Beterbiev and Joe Smith are in talks for a unification, so that'd be great in the sense of Canelo fights Bivol. You're just another fight away from undisputed at 175 pounds now.
I got Jesus with this $10 super chat. Says, a lot of people mad Dazn doing pay-per-views. Shaking my head. People forget when PBC started, their motto was free boxing for all, free network TV with no subs like HBO and Showtime, and no pay-per-view. PBC now, Ortiz versus Martin pay-per-view. PBC did pay-per-view first. This is so hilarious, these fanboys of networks that they did us dirty first, she cheated first. Like, look, the point is that we at least had one safe haven that it was $883 a month, no matter what they gave us. That's gone. Pointing the finger at who did it first and why did it happen.
Doesn't matter.
And I will agree with you. I'm definitely agreeing with Jesus. Like I said earlier, DAZN seen the $800,000 times $80 and said, why the fuck are we giving Canelo fights away for $20? It's simple math.
No, absolutely.
Simple fucking math. They got mad. They seen how much money they've been leaving on the table.
Absolutely. I really believe that now the question becomes, at what do they price it at?
I think it's going to be the same way they did prior pay-per-views on DAZN because people are acting like this is new. It's just people don't fucking pay attention. You know what I mean? But that's what you got this show for. We do all the fucking snooping and following and bringing together of the headlines and give it to you in one place. The point is, when Canelo fought on DAZN, it was pay-per-view. I could buy it on my cable if I wanted to. I didn't have to have DAZN. That being said, I hope they continue in that model. And let's say you want the Canelo pay-per-view. It's still the same subscription price for you, but they're also offering it on traditional cable providers as a pay-per-view.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
I always treat DAZN. I don't have the yearly subscription, so I've always treated it like a pay-per-view. If there's a fight I want to see, I pay the $19.99. I think.
Oh, really? You do the month to month?
But I'll get it like 2 or 3 times a year. I mean, it's fights I really want to see. I had a subscription at first.
Yeah, I can't do that.
But I treat DAZN like a pay-per-view now.
As much shit as I talk about boxing, I got them all. I have to watch them. Even when I don't want to watch them, I at least have it in case someone is like, hey, did you see? And it's like, no.
Well, you have to because you guys are the boxing voice.
Right,
You're the boxing voice. So
let me get to this real quick. I got Hawk in Maryland. What's going on, my man? He says, Bivol is a harder fight than Charlo. Too risky for me. A lot of people feel that way. A lot of people do feel that way, and I get it. He is a younger 175-pounder if you compare him to Kovalev, but Kovalev the Crusher is more proven. Say what you want about that first Andre Ward fight. It don't matter who you thought won. That was a close fight.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. And dropping Ward in that one. Like I said, I would like to see him finish business at 168. So even if it's Charlo in May and then Triple G in September, not just finish your business because the going up and down in weight, it takes effects on fighters, and obviously to maximize.
Oh, so you're saying maximize 168, do Charlo and Triple G, then see Bivol at 175, natural progression.
And like I said before, Beterbiev and Joe Smith are currently in talks for a unification. So in fighting Bivol, that would
make it another undisputed.
Technically, just leave Canelo one fight away from
so
undisputed.
Let the dominoes fall where they may while you do your thing at 6'8".
Yeah,
I see.
Yeah, I just wonder. I mean, I think he was calculated taking on Kovalev. Kovalev
well, of course.
had just had a fight, and Kovalev's getting older. You know, they saw weakness there,
I
and
mean,
they took advantage of it.
That's the hilarious thing about this Kovalev. Weakness. He's still fighting. He's literally training right now in LA with Buddy McGirt. Like, Kovalev is still fighting. He was, after that loss to Canelo, he was scheduled to fight the dude that Rosado blanketed. He gave him a pillow and blanket and Beck the Bully. Like, Kovalev is far from done, but because Canelo beat him, he's somehow done. But
he's definitely faded. I mean, he
does Marcus Brown beat him right now? Off his loss with Arthur Abe? They both coming off losses.
I would have to see Canelo. It's been a while since he fought. He's 38.
I'm talking about, does Marcus Brown beat Sergey Kovalev right now coming off of that loss to Beterbiev?
Honestly, I don't know.
Exactly. But we're quick
honestly,
to say that Kovalev is old.
I don't think he is old, but he's definitely faded. He's faded. He's not what he was back when he was the crusher. And Canelo, they knew that.
Are you putting your mortgage money on Joshua Buatsi for his first step up?
No.
This is what I'm saying. Like, if this guy's old, where's these young dudes that could beat him?
No.
Am I forgetting any young dudes, by the way? Are there any like light heavyweights? David Morrell might beat him. According to the hipsters, I've never really watched him fight like that. Have you?
Yeah, I've seen a few of his fights.
So would you pick him right now over Kovalev, the crusher?
I wouldn't. You know,
you wouldn't?
No.
Oh, wow. So, see, maybe the hipsters are just
obviously
trying to find a new guy.
Obviously, we haven't seen Kovalev in quite some time, and I know this fight's at a catch weight.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not like at the light heavyweight limit. Yeah, that was a good one for Canelo. A lot of people, I was there. A lot of people felt that he was down at the time. You
mean down on the cards?
Yeah. So he definitely stepped it on, but later in the fight, a lot of people might have felt that it was a little too late had he not got the knockout. But nonetheless, you did it. Cool. Pandemic happened. You were able to get your body adjusted. Yo, do you think at 68? Not. Bro, you're talking another year, maybe.
But are you asking him to stay at 68 because you're a fan of him and you think that's what's right so that you don't go up and down and have the whole Roy Jones thing? Or are you asking him to stay at 68 because you feel you want him to, silence the naysayers and fight Charlo?
Yeah, no, absolutely. To me, the best two fights that he could have next would be Charlo Benavidez. Benavidez is supposed to fight David Lemieux for the interim belt. Charlo's a fight that a lot of fans been asking for. I feel right now Charlo's the more attractive available fight. Take Charlo, take Benavidez, and then take from September, which he's known for May and September, Cinco de Mayo, Mexican Independence. Take from September to May to make that move officially to 175. The 175 when he fought Kovalev, that was 6 months after fighting at 160 pounds against Danny Jacobs. So that was a 2-division jump. Make the right move. Ideally, like I said, Charlo and then Benavidez, and then 175 next year.
Yeah, I would. I mean, I agree 100%. Those are the two fights I'd love to see, Charlo and Benavidez, and then if he wants to go up to 175 and be the king up there, because he seems to want to unify divisions. So he's done it at 168. He's still got some business there, and move up to 75 and clear that out, because I'm sure the fight there, everyone wants to see him in Beterbiev, and we'll see what happens with his fight with Smith. But sign me up if Canelo's going to fight Beterbiev. That's a fight I would love to see.
It's
Let me get to this.
Go ahead.
Brandon in Houston celebrating 12 months of membership with TBV. And listen, we're going to get some behind-the-scenes stuff here in a bit for both Patreon and members once the move is official. There's a lot going on in the studio that you guys don't get to see, but we'll get to see as members of the Boxing Voice Radio. But Brandon goes on to say, Benavidez is the only fight to make. Canelo is walking around with the WBC belt he got for free, fighting Callum in a WBA bout. Stop running, Canelo. And he put the running the man emoji, smoke emoji with the 3 El Bandera Roja flags. And looks like we got another one here. I got to get to Mr. Steal Your Chin is back. He changes his names daily here. He says, so we're going to act like Canelo wouldn't have made more than $100 million for 3-fight deal that was reported from PBC. Complain pay-per-view now. 2 laughing out loud emojis. Yeah, I mean, of course. Of course. I mean, because all the numbers are out there. But it's not about him making the right or wrong. I mean, I guess it is the right or wrong decision, but in his eyes, it's the right decision. Like, why tie myself down when now every time I fight, the next fight is a bidding war?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, look, he's got 45 million, 85 million. Wait, no, it's 100 million. So it's like he's in a better position by staying as a free agent.
Yes, absolutely. He's in the driver's seat. And look, and he's got a restaurant coming into, I just read last night, he's got a taco restaurant. He's got a taco restaurant
in San Diego, right?
Yeah, he's just opening.
Yeah.
So he is in the driver's seat.
Can't forget he's got Canelo phone.
Man,
Well, there you
Canelo
go.
phone or Canelo Mobile. Then he has
Canelo Tacos.
the pharmaceutical company in Mexico. Yo, my boy's helping his people out there.
That's
you know,
what's up.
he's helping his people, but you know, there's no need to tie yourself down on any deals at this point in his career. You know, he should have never signed that last deal with Oscar. Like he's been not needed a promoter. You know, he's been in the driver's seat for years now. Obviously, I feel like last year solidified it. And you know, 3 of his 4 fights were against top guys. Obviously, the 4th fight in Yildirim being a mandatory, but you know, Canelo's in the driver's seat right now, and I think his 2 biggest names and more financially bigger opportunities would be Charlo and Benavidez.
But I mean, if that's the truth, wouldn't it be wiser, George, to kind of piss off the fight fans so that they're clamoring for that fight?
And maybe that's the play. You know, I mean, they've got Canelo's a smart guy, and he's got smart people behind him, and maybe that's the play to make those fights bigger.
I think you can close the chapter, the book on the Triple G chapter before fighting Charlo, just to make people mad. Oh, he chose an older guy. He doesn't want to fight him. He's scared. You know, but it builds more interest. Charlo needs to do something, though. Not that he needs to do something to get the fight. Do something to build it, to make it greater. You know, get a big knockout over a decent name to be like, yes, he's the guy that can do it to Canelo. But before you guys respond, we got Kansas City back with another one. He says, GBP, Free Rashidi Ellis. Oh, Golden Boy Promotions, Free Rashidi Ellis 2022 belongs to Keith, his Tom Thurman. Shout out to Kansas City. Sway in New York City says, so we pay DAZN monthly and now 2 pay-per-views on DAZN? Shaking my head. Or palm in the face emoji, right? Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone's gonna be happy, but it's like, George, like you said, you didn't see this coming?
Right. And you can't be surprised. If you're a
The
boxing
writing was
fan,
on the wall.
Right. Nothing is going to surprise you. And with Charlo, I agree. If he fought someone at 168, got a good knockout, really established himself, because what are most people saying about Charlo? He's good, but he's too small. Most people are saying he's too small for Canelo. He's too small.
The other people are saying he hasn't fought anybody at 60.
Right.
So, you know, so a good knockout over anybody at 60 or 68 would
get people inspired. You want to be inspired to see a fight.
Yeah, it'll just help sell more tickets and pay-per-views. You know, again, it's not that I think he needs to knock someone out to get the fight. He obviously is the more marketable fight, but, you know, why not capitalize on that and drive that statement home by showing the people that you're someone not to be fucked with. We got Andre Dakota in New Jersey. Shout out to New Jersey. He says, Joseph Markowski shouted no pay-per-view events when I met him in Vegas. Canelo bout better be discounted for day 1 subscribers. Laugh out loud. Yeah, right. But at least I fall into those day 1s. I've been on DAZN since the very, 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 very beginning. So I should fall under a day 1 subscriber and get a discount. And that is a good idea. You see, this is what I mean about boxing, right? Like, I'm sure you guys watch other sports. You being in HBO, you probably definitely watch other sports. But those other team sports have, like, package deals for their fans. Like, here's a I don't know, what's it called? Like an annual ticket thing for you guys, right?
So what they do is, me being from Chicago, but living here in Vegas, I'm a degenerate, so I want to watch all the games. So I pay the NBA League Pass, and they do it. You can get it for the entire league or for a specific team. I do it for the Bulls specifically.
Hence the Chicago Bulls hat.
There you go.
There, and I got the DeMar DeRozan shirt under here.
There you go.
You know, All-Star.
But is it because they're good or because you're from that city?
No, I mean, that's what I grew up in, right?
You just repping the city.
I'm a true fan.
But are they good? I don't watch basketball.
Yeah,
bro.
I mean, I feel like the Bulls are probably one of the top, 5 or 6 teams in the league right now.
I'm an old head. Last time I seen the Bulls, Jordan and Pippen played for them.
I was
maybe even what's my man with the
Dennis Rodman.
That's right.
Oof.
Horace Grant,
Wow.
Steve Kerr.
Rodman.
You know what I'm saying? The real team, man. The real team. These fake Bulls, they want to be that team.
Oh man.
They want to be the 6P.
Look where we're going now. We're just bashing on the
Right.
Bulls now.
No, that's when I had hoop dreams as a kid. So I used to love Jordan. Everybody stuck their tongue out.
I was a Knicks fan, so
Oh, you wanted to be Ewing?
I didn't. I hated Jordan. I hated Jordan. But I rode with the Knicks. I mean, I know this is a boxing show, but the Knicks are terrible. They've been terrible for 2 decades. 2 decades.
Has it been that long for real?
Yeah.
It's been that
Yo,
long for sure.
hey Brandon, I think I have a guest scheduled. Honestly, I think I have someone.
8:30.
Oh yeah, Reese Aleem.
Yeah.
Yes, Reese Aleem. If you want to ask Reese Aleem a question, who is in Stephen Fulton's division and Brandon Figueroa's
Right,
division,
122 pound.
122 pounds. If you want to ask him a question, you can do so by heading over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/The Boxing Voice. Ask Reese Aleem whatever question you want. I'm gonna read it out to him as if it were you. But yeah, back to these super chats. You got something? Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna finish saying. So leagues like baseball and football and they offer you these packages because
season tickets, right?
in a sense, right, when you're watching it, because the thing is, so the Chicago teams, they are shown on free TV in the Chicago area. It's a totally different market, totally different region. They're not gonna really televise their games. So I pay. I probably pay, I don't know, 150, 200. I forget how much is
a year.
A year.
Just to watch it.
Just to
in
watch
Vegas.
every game. Out here in Vegas.
Wow.
Thankfully,
Die hard.
Thankfully, because I have T-Mobile, I get the baseball.
So wait a minute. A millennial like yourself can't find a streaming service?
Yeah.
Why could boxing be stolen and not fucking basketball?
No, you can't. You absolutely can. But,
okay.
I just
You choose to support.
I guess the support and
you like
the peace of mind that I know I'm gonna get a nice
Stream.
A nice feed,
and then for me it's even deeper than that. Like with the baseball one, you get to pick the commentators for what city. So I'm always listening to the game with the Chicago commentators. Versus,
that's a nice little perk right there.
So it's like you gotta
imagine you could take out Farhood, like fucking Far no, and just put in Paulie. That's amazing.
Take out Brian Campbell.
That's an
You're
official
onto
little
something.
perk.
That might be
something they
might
can
be
fucking
something.
think about.
But that would only work obviously in a co-promotion if you had like a PBC and Top Rank. Like I don't want to listen to
the Top Rank telecast. Okay.
So it's not like individual specific, but
that's still a good add-on. Can you imagine if DAZN paid for the old HBO, like gave Lampley, Merchant, and Roy a job, but you get to choose? Do you want to listen to Lampley, Merchant, and Roy, or do you still want to listen to fucking?
That's gonna happen now.
What's his name? Chris Mannix. The fighter is Sergio Mora
and Brian Kenny.
Brian Kenny, and you get to choose, and you click that multiple choice.
When Pacquiao and Mayweather fought, it was they mixed up the teams, the HBO and the Showtime teams. They had and they did that with Lewis Tyson too. Whoever won the fight, it was going to be shown on their network, and they mixed up the talent. So
they definitely shared broadcast for Mayweather Pac. I remember that without a doubt. We're gonna get to Jesse Quesada, who says Bivol has a better resume than Maul, which is Jermall Charlo, Joe Smith, or 42-year-old K9 Bundridge. So, GGG, old now if Nello fights him, but you mofos were screaming for GGG to fight Maul. Hypocrisy. Yeah, that's kind of what we're saying. But I think you're misunderstanding. I think me and you are on the same page, and you're like, your super chat is to, like, I don't know, the detractors, right? Because I've always defended Canelo and praised him for beating Kovalev. People like to call Kovalev old, but I asked Ronnie Shields, did he think that Jermall could move up to 175 on that same night and do what Canelo did? And he said no. And I've asked many people, did they think they can beat Kovalev on that same night? And they said no. So I seen value in what Canelo did. So, you know, he's not old. And when GGG was rumored like 40 million to fight Charlo, I wanted that fight for Charlo because I understand that this is what boxing is and how it's developed, right? Like the younger man fights the 35 to 40-year-old named fighter on the way out. That's how you pass the torch or you rip it from his hands. So it's not really hypocrisy. It's just when you're the face of boxing, yes, certain fighters will be old for you. Just like Gervonta Davis is so good, Barrios was a fucking bum cherry pick in the world's eyes. All of a sudden, he knocks out Barrios, and it's an even fight on the betting line with Thurman. And he doesn't get knocked out by Thurman. So, you know, we don't know shit about boxing. We just like to act like we do. But
that's what Roger Mayweather said. We don't know shit about boxing.
Truth is, fights need to happen for a reason, man, because in that fight, a fight breaks out.
You know, and you know, the cliches, they say styles make fights. It really
no, that's real.
It's true, because even it's
not a cliche.
I was on the plane coming over here, and I don't know why this got in my head, but I thought Tommy Hearns destroyed Roberto Duran. I mean, like no one else ever has. Iran Barkley knocked out Tommy Hearns, beat Tommy Hearns by decision. Then Roberto Duran comes back and beats Iran Barkley. When he fought Barkley, you would say, no way, Barkley's going to destroy. But styles make fight. It is true, and you know sometimes people don't like the old cliches, but it's true.
It's
I just hate
true.
when you guys start talking about those eras and you hear those stories. You know, could you imagine if Tank would have fought Devin and Devin would have fought T.O. and T.O. would have fought Ryan?
Let's hope. Let's hope. You know, let's hope.
You're also speaking, and I don't want to go deep into it, but you're also speaking of an era that is similar.
That doesn't exist anymore.
For one,
because of the money. It's really the finances that ruined it.
That's what I was getting at, right? You know, you're speaking of an era that in today's world would be like a UFC. You see the fights you want to see, but your heavyweight champion of the world is making $600,000 on pay-per-view.
I mean, not necessarily because, whoa. Watching that documentary, Ray Leonard made $40,000 for a debut. That in today's, that's a lot. Like even for today, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And imagine if he as a gold medalist made 40, what did Shakur make? And matter of fact, he's a silver medalist. It don't even count. You gotta go check. And Ward, yeah, but Ward had a bad promoter. You know, rest in peace, Joe Goosen. But that was not. He was not Bob Arum. He was not Oscar in his prime. And he didn't have Al. Like Ward made his money when he got with Rockefeller Nation.
Right.
But I got LV Slugger. LV, we're gonna start calling you Las Vegas Slugger since we out in Vegas. He says no more business to finish at 68. Nello undisputed. So what do you mean no more business? So you don't want the Charlo fight? Because that's where the Charlo fight would take place. They're not gonna ask Charlo to move up 2 divisions.
Look, there's always business.
Yeah,
he's undisputed.
Especially when it makes business,
and there's always another
sense.
man to fight. But
you know, I think kind of what he's getting at. You know, obviously from a legacy standpoint, in the sense of like, you know, he already became undisputed. What else does he have to prove?
No, but this is legacy. Think about it, man. Someone in this day and age now, with so much video and audio, everything is documented differently than it was in the past. 60, 70 years ago, if you were a writer for Chicago and I was a writer for New York, we didn't see each other's papers. Like, I didn't know what the fuck you wrote. So it's different now. Like, people will remember that Charlo was in 3 divisions with this man and that fight didn't happen.
No,
so for legacy, I think he does and will fight him because of that. It looks like we got a counterpunch from CYP. CYP, let me find you. are you on? Not on Blog Talk, so that means he's on Skype. Can we go to Skype? Talk to us.
Yo, let me know if you hear me.
Perfectly.
Good. Y'all pissing me off early. Listen, man, this is for the people who are too afraid to tell Canelo. Go ahead.
I was just, thank you to Brandon. I said Joe, I meant Dan. It's Dan, right? Yeah. I'm sorry, not Joe. Sorry to make someone pass away that didn't. Apologies, I meant Dan.
Right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that was, yeah. All right, listen. For all the people who are afraid to tell Canelo how they feel, okay? You keep writing. Charlo need to fight this guy. That guy need to fight that guy. Look, why don't you tell Canelo how you feel? Tell Canelo to tell Charlo and Benavidez, y'all fight, y'all get the winner. Tell Triple G fight Charlo, whoever gets me gets the winner. Tell Andrade fight Charlo, whoever. Why don't you tell Canelo that? Stop writing in the chat what you scared to tell him. You honestly, this has been going on for years. You always talking about what another fighter has to do when he looks a certain way. I noticed that. When he looks a certain way, you always want that guy to fight somebody before he gets Canelo, but you never say that when Canelo picks guy who ain't fought nobody. Tell Canelo how you really feel. And secondly, for the dudes who keep saying, he fought an old-ass 40-year-old for his belt. I said, so if a 40-year-old in your division has a belt and you ain't never had one, you supposed to let him keep the belt and not fight him? Nah, dummy. Charlo had no belt.
Try not to yell, because you are definitely cutting out when you yell. You're getting some static. I don't know if they're hearing it in Blog Talk. Yeah, that's passion.
That's some passion.
That's what Jermall said.
Listen to me. It's very, very simple. If a 40-year-old got a belt in the division and you a guy trying to make a name for yourself, you fight whoever got a belt. It don't matter who he is. So the fact that y'all want Charlo to just dismiss the Bundreds and dismiss his first belt is ridiculous. It shows more fear in you. The Mexicans that I roll with, the ones that I like, they want the fight between Charlo and Canelo. They ain't talking about Charlo fighting nobody else. But y'all got issues. Y'all need some help, and y'all need some milk. DYP out.
Yeah, well, for anybody that calls in, definitely we love the passion. Just try and because it's what is that feedback? Is that what we call feedback?
Screaming doesn't work.
Yeah. So Jaguar Paul say Ness push Benavidez versus Andrade. There's no need, man. Like, guys, we gotta, like, I've been saying this for at least 4 years. I live in the reality that I live in. And the reality is, Dazn and PBC are not going to do business. PBC is not going to do business with Andrade. Not just Dazn, it's Andrade specifically. If they didn't give him Charlo, why the fuck would they give him Benavidez? Now, maybe there's some other alternate galaxy where Al Heyman sits on a chair and he's like, well, at least we know David can, beat him guaranteed, is what the world would think, right? Like, who's the favorite in that fight?
No, it would be David.
All right, and who's the favorite in the Charlo Benavidez fight?
I mean, David. I think it.
No, excuse me, Charlo Andrade fight.
I think it'd be.
That's more even, right?
It is.
So, and that's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying. So maybe Al sits on that chair and he's like, fuck it, we could send Achilles out there to get this belt. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Like all this, the passion, like start directing that passion towards the boxing organizations and how political and segmented it is now. Certain networks only have certain fighters from they only ride, certain fighters only ride with Showtime. Certain fighters only ride with DAZN. There's that's where all this anger and venom should be. The organizations that are ruining boxing, all this political stuff that's ruining the sport and stopping fights from happening. People say back in the day fights happened. They usually did, because if they made money, they made sense and they made the fights.
But it also didn't make as much money for the fighters. Obviously we're talking the Don King era. We know who got paid back then.
Oh, well, that's a whole different show.
But a lot of those top names, you see a card with like Duran, Chavez, and Sweet Pea or something like that, because he would underpay the fighters and have all these great names. But to me, I feel like you were right. Everybody is loyal to a network, but Canelo right now is to the point where he doesn't have to be.
Which I wish would happen more. And I know it's hard. It's not easy.
Yeah, I mean, but it's happening right now with Terrence Crawford, and I don't think it's going well. Now, maybe I can just be assuming on the outside looking in, but we've heard zero.
Right.
Like zero You know, if his career was in the hospital, it's flatline. There's nothing there. You know, resuscitation is needed right now. We need some sort of breaking news, leak news. Like, at least, look, Canelo said, you know, he's not doing anything. He's playing golf, but somehow negotiations keep getting leaked. Somehow his fans are getting teased of a possible fight. They're starting to realize, okay, May, we might get Canelo back. Let's start planning for May. You know, I think that these guys need to think like that. You know, Crawford needs to think like that. Even Gervonta, what's going on with him? You know, this Rolly thing was rumored for March. He's been awfully quiet. I did see that he's sparring, but it's like, you know, no announcements. I mean, boxing, it's same thing, you know, with yesterday's show. Earl Spence could have been flown out to Vegas. They could have announced that fight at the Keith Thurman card with all the media in attendance. Cool. You didn't do that. Why? Because, you know, I don't want to break camp. I'm focused on the 3 belt. I don't need to promote. Let's do a Zoom. Ugas lives in fucking Vegas.
Right.
Ugas lives in Vegas. Put a television screen up there next to his ass and let's do a Zoom press conference. Let's promote, man. We've lost promotion, man.
You got to think in terms of that, though. You know, it is a PBC, you know, banner fight, but, you know, the Keith was a Fox thing. Arrows is going to be a Showtime thing.
Yeah, no. But you don't need to announce it on television or you don't need to do a press conference on television. You can definitely announce the fight. You've been at plenty of fights where then, you know, they take a back room and use all the media that's already there to announce another upcoming fight.
Definitely.
And then Brian Custer can talk about it on telecast. Polly and them or whoever's on the telecast can now speak about this announced fight that's happening at AT&T Center. I just think they just dropped the ball so much. I don't know if these things cost money, but it seems like they're not thinking in terms of promotion. They're waiting so long, too, to announce these fights. It's like, let's give them a month.
Well, PBC has done that historically. They've waited and waited and waited and waited before they would announce a fight. And you're right. I don't understand. It's not promoting. It's not promoting. By promoting, you get a fight out there and you get people interested in wanting to see the fight and pushing it. And you're right. They're not doing that. Dude, I said
this yesterday, man.
They're not doing it.
Floyd went to 10 out of 11 cities. It was scheduled for 11 cities when they did the press tour with Canelo Alvarez. And they ended up doing 10. I think they didn't go to what, Mexico City?
I forget.
Yeah, they didn't go to 1. But, bro, Floyd even did a press conference in Baltimore. Like, he hit every market. My man went everywhere.
Yeah, I know.
You know, and obviously that costs money, especially for Floyd press conferences in 10 different cities. But I'm sure we can find a way to get it done at a, at a good price, man. They can do something. Like I said, they could have done Zoom. But let me get to this next super chat. James Benitez with 3 in a row. Gonna go ahead and ring that alarm for you. He says, Ness, why you act like you don't know who Morrell is? He beat your boy Fox badly. Morrell a top 5, 168-pounder. He beats both Charlo and Benavidez. James, why you don't act like you don't know who your boy Morrell is? Because Fox started his career at 54. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing to be writing home about because you beat Fox and because Fox is the biggest name on your resume. It's a nice developmental fight. Keep doing your thing. But
why so serious?
No need to take that man that serious. He's got like 7 fights. Let him fight somebody. Somebody. You know? I mean, how much do you rate him and his last win over Alantez Fox from the DMV area, I believe?
Yeah, not top 5, you know, at 168 pounds. Like, come on, man. Like, Caleb.
Is he not, though? Like, who else is at 168? Does he not make the cut?
I would.
For top 5, let's see. You got Benavidez.
I'm putting him over Morrell.
You got Keller Plant.
I'm putting him over Morrell.
You got, that's it. You know what I'm saying? Like, who else?
Andre, putting him over.
What Andre? Demetrius?
Yeah.
He ain't even get there yet. Chill. You cheating.
So you
That's
got him
cheating. That is super cheating. Billy Joe's retired. Anthony Durrell's old. John Ryder, come on. John Ryder's.
There's not a lot of depth. There's not a lot.
There isn't. Like,
There
yo,
isn't.
to say that Morrell isn't top 5. I mean, look, there's other people there. Lemieux is still there. I guess Ryder does deserve. He's got more wins.
Well,
LeBron Richards too. I mean, I don't know, man.
We'll
Look.
also see what John Ryder does this weekend against Danny Jacobs.
Right.
That'll be a good barometer. But
Yeah, this is a crossroads fight for Daniel Jacobs. If he doesn't win this fight, it's a wrap, man. I'm sorry to say. I'm no one's, father or manager, but we expect you to beat John Ryder.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm not saying, oh, you lost to him, you have to retire, but you definitely have to ask yourself some questions. You and your team have to think about some things if you lose to John Ryder. I mean, what's John Ryder's biggest win?
man, I feel like it would have to be.
I don't even know.
I mean, look, he lost to Rocky Fielding, I think. So
I think he gets his claim to fame for giving Callum Smith a tough fight. Eddie Reynoso watched it and put on his story like, oh, he should have won or something like that.
And it's always when a fighter gets his most props for losing a fight, that's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. If that's
Shout out Sergey
that's the first
Derevchenko.
thing you look at.
Shout out Sergey Derevchenko. Listen, let me get to James Benitez with another one. He says, Bivol's such a boring fighter. I mean, he beat Joe Smith. Whoa. That was impressive. Bivol, Charlo, both get stopped by Canelo. Better beef, puncher's chance. I can't disagree, man. I think Better Beef gets it too. And he comes right back with another one and says, so Charlo can put asses in seats now? Not a draw. I don't know. I never really, how the tickets doing when they did the double sell? When it was him and the brother on the...
That was behind closed doors. That was.
That wasn't Houston?
No, that was in the bubble.
Yeah,
in
I think that was.
I think that was. Go ahead and ring the alarm for James Benitez. Obviously, 3 super chats in a row. Shout out to you. So when have they check if they've been home. Have they been home?
Yeah, I was just there. I was just there when Jermall.
Oh, when he fought Castaño. But that's the different brother.
No, that's Jermall. That
Yeah, I
was
know.
in San Antonio. Jermall just fought
that
Mexican.
Montiel.
Yeah, Montiel.
How'd that do? He had a little Mexican across the street from him?
Yeah, nah, I mean, it wasn't.
And I was the nephew of a legend?
Man.
Is the Montiel name legendary?
No,
I know that knockout Donito hit him with. That was legendary.
Yeah,
Shit.
but I don't know that the name is. But no, I mean, he fought in Houston. They fought at the Toyota Center where the Houston Rockets play.
Okay, so that holds some people.
Yeah, but it was the upper bowl was closed.
You better Google it, because if you piss CYP off, he come in with facts.
I mean, the upper bowl was closed, so.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna guess on a number. Of
So
how many
I mean,
people
you
were
could
there.
have the upper bowl closed and still do like 7, 8. No.
I mean, in your hometown, is that considered a draw when Arrow fights in his hometown during quarantine where there's social distancing? He does 12.
Well, you ain't had to be that mean. We got Big Fish Vega. I think Brian Lenz needs a reminder how Benavidez lost his WBC belt twice. Everybody wants the golden ticket, hoping and praying to be selected. Yeah, it's more like the Willy Wonka ticket, okay? But I guess that shows my age, you know what I'm saying? But that's a classic. If your mom never, let me shut up. Let me stop telling people how to parent. I was about to say, if they never let you watch it, problema. Let me go to Blog Talk. We're going to Hawk in Maryland. What's up, my friend? If you're on Blog Talk, you got to press 1 at least one time so that we know you want to voice your opinion right here on the Voice of the People hotline. Hawk in Maryland, what's going on?
What's going on, Ness? And great to the panel. What's going on to the panel?
What's going on?
I don't know everybody's name and everything. Ain't too much. I just want to. I got a little. Canelo's gone. Just take the writings on the wall that Canelo look like he's going to, Eddie Hearn and now. So my thing is this: everybody's fighting for Charlo to get this fight, and everybody's mad he ain't getting this fight. Okay, so this fight is gone past because so far it looks like Canelo got a 2-fight deal coming for this year's gone. So who is PBC going to put Charlo in there with? And does Charlo come up to 168 to get in the line of fire? Because Demetrius Andrade is coming up to 168, so that puts him right there with Benavidez and everybody. That puts him right in the line. What is Charlo going to do to keep everybody arguing for his name now that Canelo's already got at least one fight lined up? So I'm just saying, everybody's speaking for Charlo. When is Charlo going to show up with a fight that's worthy? Who is they going to put him in the ring with? And is he going to stay at 160? Because if he's staying at 160, I don't see how his name can stay on the playing field with the boys at 168 and 175. That looks like where everybody, even Triple G will have to come up to 168 when he fights Canelo. I don't think Canelo's going down to 160 for a Triple G belt. I mean, I'm just asking a question.
Yeah, no, that'll definitely be at 168 pounds.
Yeah.
You would think so?
Canelo.
No, they already announced it would be 68. He would be defending his belts.
So what is Charlo going to do?
No, you're right. I mean,
so what's PBC going to do with Charlo to keep him in the race?
Yeah, at 160.
Nothing. They just waiting.
We can't keep arguing for Charlo. No. Can't keep arguing for Charlo. He at 168.
Yeah, but you can't have him do.
He ain't even in the playing field.
You can't have him do nothing right now because he's already in the conversation. He's got to get not selected. Then you give him a stay busy fight that he should not be able to lose. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to keep him undefeated.
Yeah.
You got to keep him in the race.
Okay, I get that. But that's where a lot of his complaints, the complaints from people are coming from. Charlo's not doing nothing that is significant. Like, if Charlo was to come up and take that fight,
but Rocky Fielding didn't do anything significant either. I mean, he did do something.
Right.
He did do something spectacular, in my opinion. But I'm a hardcore. Anytime you go to a foreign country and you win a world title, you did your thing. It's funny that Tank wins that same belt and he's a champion. Rocky wins that belt and he's a fake champion.
Mm-hmm.
Colbert wins that belt and he's a champion. Rocky wins that belt, he's a fake champion. Morrell wins that belt and he's a real champion. Rocky wins that belt and he's a fake champion. Rolly wins that belt and he's a real champion. Rocky wins that belt and he's not a real champion. So it's like, man, boxing is selective.
Yeah, it is.
So
it's
who
so selective.
you favor?
But like Jermall Charlo right now, like he's in a holding pattern. If you have a chance to, if your name is in the Canelo sweepstakes, you're not doing anything until, like you said, you're either in or out.
Mm-hmm.
If he's not going to fight Charlo, if Charlo's not going to fight Canelo, then PBC and Jermall, they got to decide what to do.
What's the alternative fight? He Canelo ends up picking Gennaidy, does the trilogy. What do we want to see Charlo do?
Yeah,
because Gennaidy, again, because people say, oh, Canelo's picking an easier fight, but how do you have Charlo Gennaidy? Is it a 50-50, 60-40? What do you think? Where do you put that?
I mean, I'm at this point, I think Charlo wins that fight. I think Gennaidy's getting
50-50 though, 60-40, what, 70-30?
Maybe 60-40. Maybe it's close.
I would agree.
Close.
I would agree.
So definitely Charlo's the favorite in the Gennaidy fight.
Some people might not have him. Me personally, I just think he's shown that he's slipping, and he's going to be 40 years old this year. Mm-hmm. It's not a death sentence, but I think Charlo would be the favorite, but that's a fight, so I'll watch that fight. Sign me up for that fight.
All right. Let me go to Big Matthew on Skype. What's going on, my friend? All the way in the United Kingdom.
Hey, Ness. Congratulations on getting your car, mate. I'm glad you achieved one of your goals. Shout out to the chat. With Canelo, I've not got too much to say about who he's going to fight. I think he probably beats any of them. But have you heard Tyson Fury versus White is looking like it's going to get moved to Wembley to a 90,000 capacity instead of 78,000?
That would be impressive, man. I mean, he's got to show Anthony Joshua that there's a new game in town, man.
That's right, yeah. He's been reported by Ade Oladipo, who works for Dazn. Said he's got inside information saying they're going to Wembley in London, which will be great.
Nice. Well, I look forward to it, man. I've been wanting to see White in another high-level fight. I mean, we all know I wanted Wilder to handle some business with him, but I can take Tyson Fury without a doubt.
It's amazing what they draw over there in the UK. Mm-hmm. Like Anthony Joshua drawing 80,000 for his fights when he fought in Wales. Like, they come out.
No.
They come out for their fighters.
They come out. I mean, but again, it's the price though, right? It's like, I don't know why boxing. Well, we did do it. I mean, Canelo's doing it. Canelo's doing it. You know, I wish Floyd would have done a little bit of that stadium fighting himself. We got Fred Robinson with a super chat. He says, Ness, we all knew what route Canelo was going in. We ain't ever getting a Charlo or an Andrade or Benavidez. Don't co-sign this nonsense. I don't believe you, man. I don't believe you. I believe Canelo will give us those fights, man.
Payday. You want payday. I know that.
Bro, and they represent paydays for him. I mean, we're hearing the numbers, bro. These numbers are insane. Like, let's be real. He's making more than Oscar. He's making more than Floyd per fight. Well, he still can't say that because Floyd still got those two big fights with Pacquiao and McGregor. Those are individual fight checks. So, you know, he's definitely the second highest paid athlete in all of boxing history. Per fight basis, by taking any one of these two offers.
And I don't see. Look, whether you.
But even still, even the last one, he got 40, so that was more than AJ and the old Canelo deal.
Whether you like Canelo or not, I mean, he doesn't seem. He's not the guy that ducks fighters. He takes on challenges. He fights guys that. What's the Cuban that he fought? Lara. You know, who wants to fight Lara? And some people thought Canelo lost that fight, but he doesn't seem to back away from challenges. If I was with Canelo, I would have probably said, don't fight Lara. Don't fight him. There's other bigger fighters you can fight.
Well, they told him not to fight him,
But
man.
he did. But that's my point. I don't think he ducks fighters. So I'm going to agree with you. I think he'll fight those guys.
No, absolutely. And, you know, now that he is that promotional free agent, we're fortunate to be able to get those fights. You know, he calls the shots. He chooses who to do business with. You know, obviously along with the team and Eddie Reynoso, but we're getting those fights. We got to see him become undisputed in 13 months. So 11 months, I'm sorry. So, you know, it's a beautiful thing for him to have that freedom and be able to get those fights to happen, not just for his legacy, but for the fans as well.
Agreed.
Yeah, man. I mean, I just don't want it to be a double standard. You know, Canelo can't fight everyone and everyone not have to do anything but just wait for a Canelo fight. It's that's a little weird for me.
He's not going to please everyone. There's always someone that doesn't like who a fighter's fighting or not fighting. That's just the name of the game.
I got Jaime Nieto who says, it's funny, the people that are gonna hate on the GGG fight are the people that were yelling for Charlo to get that fight. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, don't say that Canelo's cherry picking by fighting Triple G when you wanted Triple G to fight Charlo for $40 million and he ducked Charlo because Heyman offered him $40 million. So it's like, which one is it? Is he old and Canelo's cherry picking, or he's still good enough for Charlo to make a name off of? You know, the double standards in boxing never stop, though.
Right. Well, we've seen that. We've seen Canelo and Triple G. Like they've run it back twice, and I'd rather see some new fights and some new blood.
You know, before Canelo made that permanent move to 68, I always felt, so I'm talking, 2019 when he fought Danny Jacobs, he fought Kovalev. I always felt that, I'm like, if he fights Gennaidy a third time, he's going to stop him.
He better stop him.
And the way Canelo's been looking lately compared to the way, Gennaidy's been looking lately, I think it'll be an easy night in the office, honestly. I really do. I mean, I can't see it being any more difficult than Billy Joe Saunders was for Canelo.
Well, I got Jaime Nieto with another one. He says, Bivol is the tougher fight than Charlo. How would Charlo do against Bivol? Charlo wouldn't take the risks like that. No way he beats Bivol. What do you guys think? Jermall Charlo versus Dmitry Bivol.
That's a big jump. I mean,
Oh, right but now, why can Canelo make that jump and we think about it like nothing?
But Canelo's done it, so he's proven it. He's proven that he can do it. And Charlo hasn't. He's got to prove it.
These guys get a pass. Oh, that's a big jump, man. I don't know.
And you know what? I like it because of the style, but I'm going to tell you this. That's a fight that we'll never see.
Right.
What?
Ever.
What?
Charlo and Bivol.
Yeah.
There's no money in that fight.
No. They're not gonna talk. One guy's with Dazn and with Eddie solely, so it'll never happen.
Nah, for sure. You know, to me, the fight that makes sense, like I said, for Canelo, if you're going to fight the Charlos, the Gennaidys of the world, do it. But once you hit that 75,
don't look back.
Don't look back. You know, to me, Gennaidy, I think that they want to get him in the Murata fight, but you get him in the Murata fight, you might not get him in a third Canelo fight. You might not. And Canelo and his team have already been vocal about wanting to go overseas, wanting to go to Japan. Yo, Murata beats Gennaidy. If Canelo were to fight,
yeah,
Bivol,
but then he goes to Japan.
Right?
It's no biggie for DAZN. They want that. They got DAZN Japan.
You know, but don't overlook Murata, because Murata has been more impressive than Gennaidy's been as of late. You know, in the last two and a half years. So, to me, that would probably right now I'm picking Murata over Gennaidy. So to me, that'd be the fight that were to happen for Canelo. At that point, if it is, you know, say he does fight Bivol in May, and it's supposed to be Triple G in September. If Murata wins, I don't see that fight being in September.
Right.
You know, probably push it back. And if it is, that'd be crazy to take Mexican Independence Day to Japan. That would be insane for Canelo. But obviously, all hypotheticals. I just don't see Gennaidy deserving of a fight with Canelo should he lose.
He's got
Murata.
unfinished business, man. He really does.
But what I'm saying, even if he gets beat by Murata.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
No way.
But
no
if
way.
you're with Triple G, and now your name is being thrown into the Canelo sweepstakes, do you want to fight Murata? Why would you risk that to get the big payday against Canelo? So, you know, now that his name is in there, that it's out there, that it's a possibility, why would you want to fight Murata?
Well, that fight was a fight that was supposed to happen.
But, boxing, I mean, things change all the time. And why, if I'm with Triple G, why take that risk? Because if you lose Murata, you're not going to get the Canelo fight. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Murata fight did not happen for Triple G.
People have been suggesting that could be the case. That if he chooses to fight Gennaidy, they'll scrap the Murata fight.
Right. It's money.
But I want to believe, honestly, that Murata doesn't have enough to beat Triple G. I think Triple G still has enough to beat a Murata without an issue.
You know, they say that a lot of people will say or argue that fighters fight to their competition.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some of them, of course, but to me, I feel like if that is the case, it's just really hard with Gennaidy. You know, a lot of people felt, myself included, that Deryachenko beat him. A lot of people felt that he was struggling with his mandatory from, I want to say he was from Poland. I don't want to butcher his name. Zermeda. Steve Rose, like, he's literally fought Steve Rose, Deryachenko, and then his mandatory in the last, 3.5 years? So, I don't know, man. I'm not excited for a Canelo Triple G. To me, it'll be more of a fan experience than, that's a great fight. Like, okay, we'll see Canelo come out Mexican Independence, which also happens to be my birthday, and, get a spectacular knockout.
I got Fred Robinson with another one that says, keep it real, Ness. GGG ducked Maul when he was 8 years younger. I don't know about that. We need, you got his resume pulled up. Who Maul fought 8 years ago? You tripping. That's way too deep. But I'm going to go ahead and ring the alarm because I know you got 3 already.
Yeah. So 8 years ago would have been 2014. So he fought a guy named Hector Munoz, who was 22-12.
Hector Munoz, that's the dude with the gun tattoo. That's actually my man Rail's trainer. He sparred with everybody. Robert Easter, fucking Crawford, Danny, everybody. Infamous sparring partner. Shout out to Fred Robinson for the 3 super chats. Go for it.
And then he fought a guy named Norberto Gonzalez.
There you go. How the fuck could Charlo be ducking or GGG be ducking Charlo?
You forgot one. He fought Lenny Botai.
Oh, look this guy.
So
I mean, he didn't fight K9 until the tail end of 2015 to become champion.
So essentially, we need to tell Fred Robinson to tell the truth. Stop lying, my friend, and tell the truth. We're moving on to where we stopped at. We stopped at Fred. And we got another one from Fred. The chat is tripping. GGG has not beat anyone special in his career, and no guarantee Charlo gets Canelo after he drops a belt to fight Benavidez. Who's dropping a belt to fight Benavidez?
I don't know. It's
Nobody.
news to me.
So wait. Triple G hasn't beat anyone. Is that what they said? That he hasn't beaten anyone impressive in his career?
Anyone special? I think Jacobs' win is good.
At that time, I definitely think the Jacobs win is good, especially at that time.
And then you add that in with all his other wins: the Rosado win, the Curtis Stevens win, the Marco Antonio Rubio win, who turned around and went 12 with Anthony Durrell. Like, he was destroying dudes, and dudes were going life and death with those same dudes. You know what I mean?
I mean, he pretty much cleaned out the division.
He
much.
made-
And look, I thought he beat Canelo the first fight. No, that's another debate. But,
no, I know people seem to believe that.
But he fought. All you can do is fight who's in your division, and he seemed like he did a pretty good job at 160, cleaning out the people that were there.
But I feel like that's also part of the problem. Like, yo, my guy, are you gonna move up? Like, you broke the record for the most title defenses. That's great, bro. But like, seriously, like.
But he don't gotta move up, man. I'm not a fan of that. Like, if you can make the weight, stay there and be great.
Look, Marvin Hagler did it, and you want to go back. Some guys can stay at a weight and dominate.
Yeah.
But they won't be able to stay at a weight and be in exciting fights or good fights every time out.
Yes, they will if they just stop looking at the divisions above them. If Gennaidy would have just accepted all comers, if he would have fought Charlo, that would have been an exciting fight. If he would have been fought Murata, exciting fight. Like, there's still fighters at 60. Andre, exciting fight. There's still Billy Joe, still didn't happen. Exciting fight.
We're talking about fights that didn't happen, and that's what I'm saying. Like, not every fight that's there is going to happen.
No, but that's only because his attention turned towards Canelo. If he would have just did a Ponce de Leon, he would have been the man at 135, but he didn't. He start fucking looking the division below. Oh, Canelo, I'll go down to fight you. Oh, I'll go down to fight you. Now he going up to fight Canelo. Like, it's always money at the end of the day. Now, there's a lot of very few people gonna stick to that legacy run. We got Fred Robinson with another one. He says, Ness just made my point. 168 is the weakest division in boxing, but Canelo used franchise to make it happen. Come on, y'all. See, I still don't run with that, because why no one else did it then? If it was so weak, why didn't Callum undispute? Why didn't Plant undispute? Why didn't anybody undispute? Like, don't give me that bullshit about weakest division, man. Like, I don't know who would have won between Plant and Callum. I would have picked probably Plant because I'm biased. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know who would have won, because look at what Callum did as soon as he moved up. He knocked out Leling. I ranked that. I definitely ranked that. But I got to ring the alarm. Shout out to Jaime Nieto with another one. He says, the one time Jermall and Jermall fought on pay-per-view, they did around 100,000 pay-per-views. Charlo is not a draw. I thought they did 130.
I was going to say 120, yeah, but I mean, like I said, obviously that was a 2-part 6-fight pay-per-view. So in the same sense, it's almost like you had all of that in motion and you were only able to do 120 when you look at somebody like Earl, who's had success, So like I said, man, I feel that for the fans, the Charlo fight would be the most enticing. But as far as like who is the bigger draw in America, I mean, who is the bigger draw in America? I still have to say Charlo.
Well, I got 2 counterpunches. Looks like Majid in Ohio on Skype. What up?
What up? What up? Everybody get the likes up. Like the video. Doing YouTube members and Patreon for some. Hey man, all right, look. I don't really like how his stuff be going, but that just be the damn I wish it was little thing going on in me. But I've been saying the whole time, like, all right, if they don't get that fight, the Canelo fight, what's next? So I hear people talk about Benavidez. What do he offer? He don't got no belt and shit. It offer money and putting yourself on the mat with that WBC ranking to become mandatory. I'm like, I don't like how Charlo doing this shit because he willing to jump up for the payday. Like he trying to cash out with Canelo, but he won't step up just to make his own history. Wilder couldn't agree with fucking AJ. He ended up making his own path, and look how much money he and the big ass shows that he was able to do until he got stopped or whatever. You know what I'm saying? The money was there. So even though I don't like the way that Canelo be moving all the time and agree, it's a business at the end of the day. So if Charlo really want to boost his name and his money, he need to get his little punk ass in there with Benavidez, man. But that's all I got.
All right. Shout out to Majid. Thank you for calling in. We got CYP. What up?
Call me now. You did a good job putting him first. First off, there's no history being made if he beats Benavidez. He has no belt. Let's keep it realistic. There's no history there. Secondly, do y'all know that when Canelo moved up 154 to 160, the first person he fought was Chavez Jr. When he went from
that was technically super middleweight.
Yeah. Call it what you want. The bigger dude, 164. It was all good. 160, whatever you want to call it, 160, 168. That was his guy that he fought. When he went to 168, the first guy he fought was Rocky Fielding. When he went to 175, first dude he fought was Kovalev. Kovalev had already almost lost a yard and was knocked out by the other Alvarez 2 fights ago. But we want Charlo to step up and fight Benavidez. We want Charlo. What would Charlo do against Bivol? No. Give him a Rocky Fielding. Give him a Chavez Sr. Chavez Jr. Give him one of those. Or do what Andre Ward did. When Andre Ward went to fight Kovalev, give him 2 tune-ups and then fight the prime Kovalev. You see, it's funny how y'all always seem to forget real history because you're not real fans of the fight.
Well, Canelo didn't fight prime Kovalev, so why would Charlo get 2 tune-ups to fight that version of Kovalev? Like, Kovalev, Ward got those 2 tune-ups because he was coming off of a layoff. He had like legal issues, you know what I'm saying? So he wanted those 2 tune-ups, but I don't know, man. Look, we're gonna go back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
People are gonna get upset, and they're gonna say, why does this guy have to do something? But this is what I'm saying. See how he downplayed Rocky Fielding, but I'm sure he appreciates what Tank did to Barrios, and that's what I'm saying. One dude had hometown advantage, had everything going for him. He's been on that stage. Barrios had not. While the other dude, Rocky Fielding, went to Germany. He's from the United Kingdom. He went to Germany to beat Zugi for that belt. You understand? Like, Chris Colbert beat Jezreel Corrales maybe for that belt. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that win the regular. Who the fuck did Rolly win his regular from?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so many people that win that regular that don't get treated the way Rocky Fielding gets treated. But Rocky Fielding's a bum who got cherry-picked by Canelo because the hatred for Canelo is so deep. It runs so deep that they will discredit a fighter who's gone to Timothy Bradley, Terrence Bud Crawford. Those men went to other countries and won world titles. They are celebrated for it. They're celebrated for going to beat Junior Witter and Ricky Burns.
Errol Spence too. He did the same thing.
Celebrated. But Rocky Fielding is a bum.
Yeah, people throw that word.
That's who Canelo chose to fight his first fight. He chose to fight Rocky Fielding, a dude that literally won his world title the way you're supposed to.
And let's remember, Canelo took that Rocky Fielding fight 3-month turnaround after the second Gennaidy fight. What world champion is fighting on a 3-month turnaround? You don't really see it. Then went on to fight Daniel Jacobs for...
No, unified with Daniel Jacobs. A word that a lot of these fighters don't even know. Mm-hmm. They can pronounce it, but they haven't done it.
So unified at middleweight, right? And then goes on up to fight Kovalev that same year at light heavy. Literally goes from 160 pounds 2 divisions up, to fight Kovalev. So a lot of people like, he moved up 1 division because he had already fought at 68 before. No, he moved up 2. From the Jacobs fight to the Kovalev fight that happened back to.
Thank you for reminding me. Jacobs was considered a world champion, and his belt was the clear WBA regular. The real champion was Gennaidy. And Jacobs' regular belt was such a real belt that when it came time to negotiate with Gennaidy, he got more than the normal WBA split percentage. So when people say Rockin' Fielding was a nobody, I guess Jacobs a nobody, Gervonta's everybody who won a regular before him.
Right. You know, you brought up pay-per-view numbers. I'm getting off track a little, but what's considered a good number now?
Shit.
For a pay, like, because the numbers seem to have been low. So what's a good number?
200 plus, man. It's always 250's always been good with any network executive I've talked to. What's the guy from HBO?
Mark Taffet.
No, the older one, the younger one that ended up. He was the last one there.
David Nelson. Peter Nelson.
Peter Nelson. The one before him was what? Rosen something? Is it Rosenberg? Ross Greenberg and Steven Espinoza. 250. 250's always
then,
good.
I wonder if it's because the numbers. I don't know if it's different now. I've never understood the business model, but
that's
I don't
crazy.
know.
You're the one from HBO, man.
Trust me, they wouldn't
no
tell
fly
us,
on the wall situation.
No, they wouldn't tell us the numbers. They didn't, sneak out an email just to HBO employees and say this did so many. No, they don't really announce the numbers now, especially when it hasn't done well.
Exactly. R. Jonesy with the super chat. He says nobody want to see GGG in 2022, bruh. Stop lying. I want to see Murata, and I would love to see GGG versus Jermall Charlo. I got CYP with another counterpunch. Skype.
Hey, fellas.
Yes.
Fellas.
Yes.
This is what I do. When I hear wrong, I make it right. Sergey Derevchenko versus my man Jacobs was for the IBF belt. Sorry. That's the belt he had, not the WBA regular. When he fought Canelo, he had a real world championship belt. Secondly, CYP, for all y'all who don't know me, I've never, ever, ever gave anybody credit for having a regular belt. I will never do it. It doesn't matter if it's Rolly. It doesn't matter who it is. I'm a Tank guy, a Wilder guy, a Charlo's guy. Jacobs did not have the WBA regular when he fought Canelo.
When he fought Gennaidy.
When he fought Triple G.
I don't care about that because I told you before, that's not real to me. We're talking about my man Canelo. When Canelo fought the Jacobs, Jacobs had that belt. I don't care about the Gennaidy. I didn't call Jacobs a real champion then. I argued that. I didn't call Rolly no champion. I don't do that.
CYP.
You tripping. Go ahead.
I got a question. So, because I used to be like that, right? If you got the regular, everybody who knows me knows I'm a huge Canelo fan. When he beat Rocky Fielding, I said he ain't no champion. However, who am I to say that you're not a champion when the International Boxing Hall of Fame recognizes the regular belt?
And
they acknowledge it.
And that's the one with the mandatories. Just like the WBC franchise has no mandatories, the WBC regular Devin has to have all the mandatories, just like the regular WBA. But listen, look, we can't defend any of these belts. We're just telling you, their rules.
No, listen to me. If you look up actual world championship titles in boxing, you will see the major titles and you will see the minor titles. Don't get mad at me because the definitions will tell you that it's a minor title. So some organization, some Hall of Fame can tell you whatever they want to tell you. But when they look at the definition always stands over anybody's opinion or anybody's accolade. The definition of a word will always reign supreme over an opinion or what somebody else thinks. It says minor, I'm going to treat it as minor. That's how I'm rolling.
So when you say definition, are you referring to the Merriam-Webster definition?
No, he's talking about...
No. I'm talking about the boxing definition. If you look up boxing world championship, look them up. It will show you each four, and it will have the minors underneath. And then it will have the areas. It has them all ranked and listed. The WBA regular is not up at top. It's under minor. That's why I called it a minor. I didn't call it a minor because I hated the guy who had it. I called it that because I'm a historian of boxing, so I want to know what I'm talking about. That's a minor title. You can love it as much as you want, but look it up right now in the chat.
So I'll say this, man. I changed my mind along the years. I was a detractor of the regular, but it's like I said, who am I to tell a fighter that he's not a champion? Like, he's getting paid more now that he has that belt. They're introducing him as a champion. He's doing all the duties of a champion. I can't win that belt. I haven't won that belt. So, I started calling regular champs, man. That's just like Jason Sosa, I just started calling regular champs. That being said, I got a few cash apps here. It looks like Hawk in Maryland says, if Canelo don't fight Charlo, he should retire. Shaking my head. I mean, I'm hoping you're saying Charlo should retire, not Canelo. He came right back with another one. Let's go ahead and ring the alarm. That's 3 in a row. Shout out to Hawk for using Cash App, saving us that 30%. He says he is not fighting nobody and no fight lined up. Shaking my head. I mean, he's definitely talking about Charlo now for sure, because he's the only one with nothing lined up. My boy definitely got something lined up. We going out the big Super Max on Blog Talk. What's going on? Oh, shit. Wrong J.
Golovkin, you are next, my friend. Por eso lo vuelvo a repetir. La era del Canelo es la mejor porque peleó con los mejores. La suerte es para los mediocres, my friend.
BoxingVoice.com.
Oh, shit, I forgot I got to do this. What up? I got you, Joseph.
Yo, what up, Ness? What up, fella? What up, Danny?
What's up, champ?
What's up to the other guy? Sorry, man, I didn't quite catch your name, but what's up to you, my brother?
George.
Good morning, man. How you doing?
Yo, man, look, at the end of the day, I'm also not interested in Bivol, man. I think the route I laid out was you should do flip it. Do Charlo first, then do Triple G and Bivol. Danny, I gotta disagree, man. I do think at the end, Canelo would end up sparking Triple G, but these guys, it'll be their third fight. Stylistically, they are always going to be in a competitive fight. It's just one of them things, man. I think it'll actually give Canelo more fits than the other two, based off styles. Unless Triple G is just completely washed up and over the hill, which I don't think. I think for a Canelo fight, he'll get up for it, and I think Canelo actually would be.
Yo, did the show cut up?
Put him to sleep, which is going to cause some trouble early on. Ultimately, I think Canelo gets it done. But
no, we can't hear Block Talk.
I think also we have to understand that Canelo's told us he's past the point.
We in the realm back here talking to ourselves. It's funny how
mute Skype, please. Mute Skype, please. Thank you.
He's outright said that. So, like the Andrade fight, I don't think we're ever getting
mute
that.
Skype.
And I don't think he can be goated anymore. You talk about the Lara fight. People told him he wouldn't fight Lara, wouldn't fight Trout, wouldn't fight Golovkin. He was a lot younger back then when those things happened. He fought all three, and it's always still somebody. So I think at this point he's not too concerned of people's opinion. So I think he's gonna do what he pleases, man. But I'm honestly not interested in Bivol. I personally want the title fight.
Big Supermax, thank you for calling in. We're gonna keep the lines moving. So listen, guys, until the studio figures out how to have Blog Talk listen to Skype, you can't hear each other. So if I didn't call you, please just try not to interrupt someone else's call. We got RNS1 on the Super Chat. He says, Ness, fans don't show up to AJ fights because it's cheap. It's because they love him. They would pay more to see him. Cheap tickets is a weak argument. Listen, maybe you're right and I'm wrong, but I'm sure that AJ would love to make $19 million off a gate like Wilder Fury. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? If you can make it, you'd make it.
That last caller had a good point when he said he wanted to see Triple G and Canelo. I think certain fighters, one fighter might be on the downside, but certain fighters, when they get together, it's going to be a fight. And honestly, like Ali and Frazier, their third fight, it was supposed to be a blowout. Frazier was thought to be washed up, and they ended up having a thriller in Manila. Tommy Hearns was supposedly washed up when he fought Sugar Ray Leonard the second time. They had a great fight. Tommy Hearns knocked him down twice. So certain fighters, when they get together, something special is going to happen. And honestly, look, I think Triple G is on the downside, but if he fights Canelo, I think it's going to be a good fight, and there's going to be some exciting moments in that fight.
I mean, like I said earlier, there were some exciting moments in the Billy Joe Saunders fight as long as it lasted. I just look at what they've done since, Triple G, Steve Rose, and then you go on, you fight Steve Rose, you have a close, controversial fight with Deryachenko. You struggle with your mandatory the first half of the fight, until you did get him out of there. You looked gassed, and it may be their third fight, but it'll be their first one at 168 pounds, which Canelo has been at comfortably now. So, I just don't see it being, like I said, a tougher fight than Billy Joe was.
I get, but that's kind of my point. Like a lot of people feel like that Triple G would get just spanked. But you never know. That's why you have to fight the fights. Now, that's not the first fight I would want to see Canelo fight, but I think if they did fight, I think it could be a really good fight.
I'm sure Michael Moorer was the favorite going into the Foreman fight. People were counting Foreman out, saying he was overweight and he was old. Let me go to Austin in Texas. What's up?
That's funny? You think that's funny? A little bit.
Austin V.
You don't know my level. And you will see.
Hobbs, New Mexico.
Because I'm gonna fuck out everybody.
All y'all my kids, man. Huh.
You wanna see something special.
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass.
¡Viva México, cabrones!
SDS Promotions.
Austin on Skype, what up? Yeah. Leaving us hanging. All right. Going to the top, Big Fish JT. Are you available? Is that a yes?
Sounds like a no.
I know. Big Fish Vega, all these big fish. I can't wait for Earl Spence to fight, right? It's like a fucking movement here. Everybody's changing their names around.
Let the little fish go so that we can catch the big fish later.
I'm the big dog at the welterweight division. WBC and IBF welterweight champion of the world. At the end of the day, I'm a way better fighter than Terrence Crawford.
TheBoxingVoice.com.
Me and Terrence Crawford on this side of the street.
We cleaning our side of the street, then we coming after Crawford.
60-40 or 70-30, whatever we give.
Say something else. Say something else.
Big Fish Vega.
Big Fish Mafia. It ain't a movement, it's a lifestyle.
SDS Promotions.
Good morning, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes. What's going on?
Right on. Right. Shout out to Big Fish Mafia. A lot of love to SDS Promotions, and appreciate the gentlemen on the panel, George and Danny, I believe.
Yep.
Thank you, sir.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no. He appreciates us.
Huh?
And that was it.
Back to work.
Hey, that call was for us. He appreciates us on the panel.
Back to work, I guess. And moving on, looks like we have Brandon in Houston. Now, where is that? Oh, here we go.
Let's start with this. I'm a creative genius.
SDS Promotions.
You don't want to get in the ring with me because he's a pussy, that's why.
And now, the most dangerous producer on YouTube, Brandon in Houston.
Thank you. Far too kind.
This message was brought to you by SDS Promotions. SDS Promotions.
Brandon, you guys making me look bad. I'm about to fucking hang up on all of y'all right now.
Can I bring up one thing while we're
Sure.
since the call? So you know what's funny about boxing and how messed up it is? Like the one caller was arguing about who's a regular champion, who's the super champion. It's such a joke what boxing has done with all these belts, and we're arguing over who's the super champion, who's the regular champion. And look, I know it's not going to go back to what it was, but this is what boxing has created. Now we're arguing about who's the real champion when both guys have belts. Which one's the more legitimate belt? So that's my little rant. So there you go.
I'm kind of glad that the WBA has been doing what's necessary to fix their mistakes and doing these tournaments, fighting each other and whatnot, because it's definitely needed. But then, of course, as they do that, here came the WBC with the franchise belt and, you know, all the
one
bullshit.
step forward, 2 steps back, and
Absolutely.
still, yeah.
So. Ness, we got any more callers? Or?
We have a shitload, but I don't know if they can hear me is the problem, because there's no way that many people aren't.
Well, while we're figuring that out, educate me on this show, because I'm pretty new. Do callers make their own intros? Do you guys make the intros?
That's Brandon. That's
okay.
Brandon.
That's Brandon makes the intros. Brandon works hard.
Yeah.
Brandon works
hard.
hard.
Shout out to Brandon.
He does.
Brandon works hard.
All right, let me see here. We're gonna get to these super chats then, because we got a shitload of those too. Since all right, now they're saying they can hear me. So who's that? Who's that? All right, well then I'll go to Adrian. Are you available? You can hear me, but are you available? I need to know who's available and who's gonna talk, because I've been going to people and they not talking, and it's ruining the quality of the show. We're gonna go to Jaime Nieto with another super chat. He says, since becoming champ at 160, Charlo hasn't fought one champion. Let that sink in. And that's true, man.
Yeah.
That's true. That's pretty weird too, that they haven't put him with anybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. All right. Well, it looks like we have a few people ready. Looks like James Benitez. What's up?
Not again.
SDS Promotions.
Real hate, man, that's like an art form, man. You know, it's like you like a born a hater, you know, like myself.
Man, you know, I really don't care about this bull shit, man.
I'm here to tell you right now.
Who says just hurry up and just fight somebody that we actually give a damn about?
We don't care. We don't care.
Charlo with the little Instagram post or whatever with the signed signature. Man, there's no way in hell he signed up to fight no Canelo, man. 2 other knockdowns that Wilder been knocked down and the footage been scrubbed off the internet, man. We all know that too.
Winner of the 9th annual Player Hater of the Year award is
James Benitez. I know what's coming this side.
I think I deserve that award too, man. Yo, good morning, Ness. How you doing, man?
Straight. What's going on, brother?
I'm doing well, man.
It's cold in Alabama?
Nah, not today, man. Not today. I had no frost in my car this morning, man. So everything's all good, man.
Nice. It is kind of warming up everywhere, man. It's going to be 70 out here in Vegas today.
Oh, man. See. We just coming out the 50s, man. So, you know, I know you don't miss the South anymore. You're a West Coast dude now all of a sudden, man.
He's a Las Vegan.
Las Vegan.
I was vegan. Yeah, man. Now on to the show, man. You really talk about Charlo being in the same ring with Canelo again, right? Oh, man. You know how I feel about that, man. I mean, he has unfinished business that he should have had with Jacobs years ago, man. And people trying to downplay Rocky Fielding. Rocky Fielding beat Jacobs' opponent that's coming up this weekend, John Ryder, which is somebody who I'm not even sure that Charlo will actually beat. You know, so is Rocky Fielding really a walk in the park, or is just Canelo just really that elite of a fighter? I think Canelo really is just the goods, man. And it's just sad, man, that you really act like that you ain't know who Morrell was, man. You know, after you watch that performance, man, how you beat your boy, man. You really gotta own it, man. Morrell up next. He already ranked the top 5 in 168 division, man. And he's really coming for everybody's heads. I mean,
who the fuck is that guy?
Who the fuck is that guy? You know who that guy is, man. You just in denial, man. You saw that shit, man, that massacre. But besides that, man, Charlo wouldn't beat Morrell. I'm not sure David Benavidez beat Morrell, even though, you know, you was just housing him in San Diego and shit like that. But I don't think he gets through Morrell either. And honestly, man, how you feel about Plant Charlo, man? Because that's the fight he really need to do, man, instead of goddamn wishing on a star trying to fight Canelo. And that's my call, man.
I would love Plant Charlo, man. I would love, and that would be like if in a perfect world, Canelo fights Golovkin, Plant Charlo happens. Charlo would need the win to get that Canelo fight, but it would build that fight.
You know, and then of course, just how everyone did this past weekend with Keith Thurman's performance over Barrios.
Comparison.
Is going to be the comparison. Okay, how did Charlo do compared to how Canelo did against Caleb Plant? So, you know, there's always going to be that.
That's exactly what's needed, though. But we got Creamer, something that I refuse to use any longer. He's saying, I'm canceling Dazn. I've kept them afloat during the pandemic and never canceled their prescription. Now they want to charge pay-per-view. If no discount, then deuces. Chucking the deuces at him. Mr. Steal Your Tin in Baltimore says, everybody got a plan until they in that situation. Best believe everybody who's saying fight somebody instead of waiting for your Canelo would wait for Canelo if they were in that same situation. Stop the BS. Yeah, it's because it's so much money.
Yes,
it's so much money, you know?
It's business, it's money. Yes, I'm going to wait. If I have a chance to fight Canelo, I'm not doing anything until they say you are not fighting Canelo. Then I'll move on.
All right. Let me go out to Wisconsin to our good friend, Mr. Rowan.
I'm good. I beat Polly. I left with his belt and his girl.
It's a dollar beat.
Hey, Pops, brush my hair one time. And I know all y'all against me. All that soft talking. I know you can do it, man. You got to, just shut that soft ass shit up.
BoxingVoice.com.
Joe, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Good morning to the panel, Danny, and what's your name again? I'm sorry, George. That's right. I should know that. I'm gonna go meet with George. As far as what Canelo wants to do, I mean, I'm not too upset with that plan. I'm not upset with the third Triple G fight. I thought Triple G won the first one. I honestly thought the second one could have been a tie, but I wasn't super pissed that Canelo edged it out. So I'd like to see the end of that trilogy just because Triple G in the modern era of Canelo seems to be the only fighter who's not afraid of him. As far as banging it out with him and has proven that he's not going to be put down and put away yet. So I think that's actually a good fight for the fans visually to watch. It'd be exciting to see. I'm with the last caller. Charlo Plant. And if Charlo beats Plant, that's a good setup to fight Canelo. And then if he wants to go up and beat Bivol and, get the other guy doing the lifting in the division at 175, go for it. As far as all these pay-per-views and Dazn going to that model, come on, we've seen this coming. PBC used to be free, man. Come on. I used to watch Keith and Danny for free on Fox, or was it Fox or what? I can't remember what network they were.
CBS.
One of them networks, right? I got to watch that shit for free, when they was coming up with it. But the model always changes. These guys get paid X amount of money. It's just a business thing and it's a numbers thing. And I'm starting to realize that that's all it really is. It's nothing personal against us, the fans. But I didn't buy Thurman Barrios because I wasn't going to spend $75 to see that.
You took a stand?
I watched Bam. I watched the Dazn card because I got Dazn. And like you, George, I heard you saying it earlier, I still pay the monthly. I'm stupid, though. I should just pay the yearly because it's one of those subscriptions that just comes out of my account that I don't pay attention to. So, it is what it is. Just like my ESPN Plus, when I want to watch boxing on those things, I already know I pay for them. But, yeah, the whole gonna go pay-per-view, yeah, I'm not happy about it, but I would have paid for a good Canelo fight before anyways. It just irritates me that I'm paying $20 a month.
Hate to cut you, champ. I got a couple of counter punches, and we got Rais Aleem scheduled to be in studio at 8:30 a.m. He's in that Stephen Fulton, Brandon Figueroa, 122-pound division. It's been heating up, and he wants his shot. We're going to go out to J-Mac on the counter punch.
You say you the big fish, I'm looking for you. Maybe a Spence, get his tail out his butt, and he'll fight me.
You are watching a master at work.
Y'all get practice, baby. When I stop him, y'all gonna say he was too weak. Oh, big in the motherfucker, man. We ain't gonna be able to fire your punk ass out here. What you wanna bet? I can bet 100,000 on that. Let's bet $1 million. I'll break your fucking neck.
J-Mac, New Orleans.
Don't like what I said, nigga? Do something fucking about it. One of the best finishers in the game. Give me the towel. Give me the towel.
SDS Promotion.
Get ready for the back attack.
Yo, good morning.
Yo, what's up?
I sound on my new Bluetooth.
Straight.
All right. Hey, shout out to SDS Promotions. Definitely got the hottest intro. I won an intro award last year too. So shout out to SDS. The guy who said you ain't got to respond, you can deal with it afterwards. I will wait for Canelo too. I don't want to ever hear you call out a fighter and say who he should be fighting and what have you. If you giving that advice, and where you detrimental to the sport, because Canelo, what he does is hold up the division and everybody wait on a Willy Wonka ticket, and then the guys that we critique about who they fighting, they get a lot of salt by you guys that sit on here. Nestor Gibbs mainly, on Andrade, and what have you, and say they wait around on that payday. Make up your mind which one it is. Canelo didn't avoid the guys from multiple weight classes because he chooses to go about how he wants to do things. So you can't get mad at what he gets in return. He has ducked guys like Andrade and Charlo since 154. Triple G has stayed stuck at 160. Next, let's add them counter punches. I'm gonna keep going till I stop. Triple G done sat at 160 the whole time and did nothing but got a Canelo fight. And y'all want a third fight? And you're still saying what Andrade did, but saying we're going to give Rocking Fielding more credit when Andrade has accomplished way more in the sport than a Rocking Fielding? Next, you just gave a heartfelt speech about what we talk about Rocking Fielding, but you shit on Andrade all the time. And he's way more accomplished. And he's been in around Canelo weight class in multiple. It looked like he's about to be on his third. Now, as much as I discredit Charlo and know that Canelo avoided him on multiple occasions, because he did avoid him with the WBC franchise when he chose not to fight as mandatory. So that did happen. That's a fact. Charlo and Triple G, they need to go sit on their hands because that's all they want to do anyway. They ain't trying to fight nobody. Charlo got nothing but champions to fight, and he's still not doing it. He wants to wait on the ticket. G doing the same thing, but y'all want to see a third fight with Triple G. Triple G ain't did shit since the Canelo fight, but he deserves the third one. And we can argue what he did before that in that lightweighted ass weight class that he's still fighting in. On to the next one, Andrade. I don't see why we can't get a Canelo and Andrade fight. Canelo don't need nobody to sell no fight for him. He the cash cow. He makes the money. He brings the money and what have you. But you guys will sit around here and argue these narratives and change it up per fighter because you're the problem. Boxing is the only sport where fans are so fickle to where the best don't fight the best. And when the best are proven to be the best because they got belts in place to do it, whatever belt you want it to be, WBA fake belt, WBA real belt, I don't give a shit. It's the belt. And they can fight each other. You sit around and make excuses and start attacking on that person and say what he did or what he did not. I mean, boxing don't make no sense to me. None of you guys are competitively impelled to sit up here and actually make the guy fights that he should continue to fight and be the best, which he gets credit for when we already know who he fight. He handpicks his opponents. That's why he gets so much credit. That's why he gets attacked for all the great things he has accomplished in the sport. He's the only cash cow, and from my understanding of boxing, that can actually just pick his fights and get away with him and y'all still want the praise and make all his money. Bud, you said Ness. Bud ain't doing shit. Bud just put out on his Facebook Live that he getting in the gym training for somebody. Just because you're not privy to the information, don't sit up here and say the man's career is over or he not doing nothing. And another thing else I wanted to cook on. I forgot it. The topic, I don't really give a shit about the topic. Y'all know where I stand with it. I don't care who Canelo fight for as Bivol, Benavidez, or Andrade. That's my three fights. I got Bivol beating him. I got Benavidez knocking Canelo the fuck out. And I got Andrade beating him like I been knew he could beat him since 154. That's my call. Tell me what I owe you.
That's three, my friend. I'll just say this, right? So Andre does get credit. He beat Jack Coolclay, I believe, on in like some country for what was it?
In Germany on split decision. Obviously, that's Coolclay's stomping grounds. My only thing is is Andrade accomplished? Absolutely. But
is he more accomplished than Rocky Fielding?
I don't even know that he is. Your best win at 160 was who? Liam Williams, who just got beaten a lot worse by Chris Eubank Jr.
Yep.
Come on, bro. It's
no, his best win is Alantez Fox because they giving credit to Morrell for that one.
I'll agree with what he said. But he said a lot. Boxing doesn't make sense. But listen, you have to be realistic here. Of course, as fans, you want the best to fight the best, but it's a business.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care Look.
Yeah, that's he said, "Oh, Canelo's the draw. It don't matter who he fights."
Right,
Get the fuck out.
But listen, if I'm with a fighter and I know that you might fight Canelo, I'm not letting you fight anyone else until someone says you are not fighting.
You mean
it's a business.
mean if you're a manager?
If you're a manager, it's a business. It's a business. So you can have your opinion,
why.
But it is a business.
Listen to me. This is exactly why Plant and Benavidez never happened.
Right.
Because those were two Canelo options, and Louis DeCubas ain't stupid. Like, why would I put both of them against each other when I could get two Canelo percentage checks?
Absolutely. Look, last I checked, a business is made to make money. And boxing is a business. And they want to make money. These fighters want to make money.
And tell Canelo that he's Canelo so he could draw with whoever, and he's going to point to Liam Smith. You know, he's going to point to whoever he did the least amount of tickets with. Like, that doesn't even make sense. Like, and I get it. That's a disgruntled fan wanting the best from boxing, but it's unrealistic to ask a cash cow to say, hey, forget about the money, forget about the ticket sales, just fight someone. Like, that don't ever happen, fellas.
Right.
But I'm going to just double down on Andre technically being more accomplished than Rocky Fielding, because he did win 2 world titles. He won a WBO vacant versus Brian Rhodes, right? Didn't he beat Brian Rhodes?
I think so.
On HBO many moons ago for a WBO 54-pound title.
That was a while ago.
You know, and then he won it again at 60. So he's more accomplished than Fielding because he's won 2 titles. But their resumes are arguably right there, you know what I'm saying? And when he said Canelo gets to pick, that's why he gets criticized. Well, Charlo's picking, and so is Liam Williams. So is Andre.
Andre won the vacant title against Vanes.
Oh, there you go.
His first defense was Brian Rose.
Another vacant title. But the point is, these guys are picking too. You telling me Andre didn't choose the fight? Right. Walter, whatever, and Akakov, whoever, and Selecki and Keeler, like, these fights are on paper. He fought them. He chose to fight them.
No, absolutely. You know, right now it's just Canelo is a very unique situation in the sense that, yo, he's a cash cow. He decides who he fights. But come on, as of late, can you really complain about who he's fought? I mean, Callum Smith, Yildirim, who you and I were in Miami years ago with Yildirim, and he was, at that time, Benavidez is #1. So it's like, come on, bro. Like, goes on, fights Billy Joe, then Caleb Plant. Like, you can't really complain about the guy's resume, especially as of late. Can you complain about Boo Boo's resume as of late? You definitely can. You get what I'm saying?
Let me get to this counterpunch. J-Mac can't hold himself. He ready to get at somebody. What up?
HBO, man, Ness, and Doomy sound. Hey, look, y'all sit up there and say about Andrade, and let me cook again. Y'all sit up here and say about Andrade, but Ness, you didn't have the matchmaker and the hitter on your show, and they both say Andrade is the most avoided fighter in their opinion, the guys who actually is behind the scenes trying to make the fights happen. So you keep choosing to ignore and keep picking at his resume, but you bring up ticket sales and worrying about money. Canelo don't have to worry about that because Canelo is going to sell out regardless to who you fight, and it's already been proven. So you can't sit up there and say about who he needs to pick. He needs to be fighting the best, actually, because he's proven to sell against anybody. So why not fight the guys that's been around your weight class multiple years that people have said you have avoided? Y'all give him excuses and all these lullabies and excuses and passes for what he hasn't done when he got multiple names that he could have been dead. For something else, something said, oh, well, Ness, you already answered that. I don't see how you so much Chicago man doing me sounding like boxing fanatic when you can't decipher one guy who fight Rock and Feeling and had whatever belt he had, and Ness keep pouring out vacant, but they still are titles that he had won, and it was in 2-weight class. That makes him more accomplished. See, when you get a championship and you win a belt, that's an accolade that you can stack. Like y'all brought up earlier, did somebody recognize him as a champion in 2-weight class at 154 and at 160? That's the WBO. So you can't dispute that. I don't even remember the belt Rock and Feeling had or whatever belt he got from Canelo got from him, but how we gonna sit up and argue that accolade? Now you want to go to resume. Okay, Rock and Feeling don't have a problem getting avoided because people go in there and will fight him. Andrade, on the hand, is being avoided. You don't have a matchmaker, and you don't have a promoter come on here and tell you a guy can't get a fight, and y'all ignore. And guess who been involved in the longest? Oh, Canelo. It's been 7 years. Canelo had the chance to fight him at 154. Guess what he chose to do? When Andrade got stripped and fought Liam Smith, if it wasn't for the vacant, it was after Liam Smith got the vacant somehow. I don't remember, it was so long ago, but that's just how long ago he ducked him. That's all I got.
Yeah, man. I mean, you know, you Canelo haters, you're living in the past, you know. And it's unfortunate because boxing's moved on, you know, and you're talking about accolades. That's what Canelo's stacking. You're talking about 2 measly accolades that Andrade has accomplished throughout an entire career. Okay? He's 30-something years old, and he's a 2-division champ, and one of those are with a vacant title. Like, you could come in and waste all the money you want on counterpunches, but it ain't going to help his resume, and he ain't going to get the fight. He ain't fought nobody. It's just that simple, you know? And Charlo ain't fighting nobody either. The fact that you saying Canelo is picking, who the fuck chose to fight Derevyanchenko off of 2 back-to-back losses? Was that Canelo? Because I could have sworn Canelo offered him 5.5 before he ever lost to Gennaidy. It's different, man. It's different on that side of the street. On your side, y'all got to make excuses for your fighters, man. I'd rather just fuck with the dude that's out here really beating people, you know? It's crazy. It's like, oh, you know, this dude, he beat Alantez Fox, man. That's your boy. So Morrell's a world beater because he beat Alantez Fox.
And before people get in the comments trying to go in on you, Charlo did not fight Derevyanchenko back-to-back losses.
No. Of course he did.
No, he
lost to Jacobs and Gennaidy.
But he fought Jack Koke in between and got that win. But, you know, just because you know it's coming in the comments.
No, and at least Jack Koke is a decent fighter. I ain't gonna front. You know, he's gone to decisions with multiple named fighters. I got Juan Diaz that says Nello breaks off Bivol next, then becomes undisputed at 175. Next May, 2-time undisputed. I can see that happening, you know. I can't see Andre doing that. You know what I mean? I wouldn't bet. I would say that the odds of Andre becoming undisputed or 2-time undisputed by next year is
it's not happening.
Probably 1,000,000 to 1.
Not happening.
OJ22, to say GGG is like fighting Billy is crazy. What? To say GGG is like fighting Billy is crazy?
Because I said that to me, a third Canelo Triple G fight would be like Canelo Billy Joe. You know, I just think Triple G's past his prime. You know, boxing is what have you done for me lately? And I feel like it's night and day with Canelo and Triple G as far as how they've looked in the ring, you know. We haven't seen much of Gennaidy, but, you know, I thought he lost the Derevyanchenko fight, and I thought he looked very...
So you think Billy Joe beats Gennaidy? I don't.
No, I don't, but what I'm saying is, because styles make fights, as far as Canelo fighting Gennaidy a third time here in September when the first one was, what, 5 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
I just, and Canelo's now been the natural 168 pounder. It would be Gennaidy's first fight at 168. Man, I just don't see it. You know, to me, the last time we saw Gennaidy, he just looked very gassed and tired. He didn't look like the Gennaidy we saw against Rosado and Willie Monroe, and, you know, when he was just knocking everybody out. Like, he hasn't looked like that in quite some time. So I think Canelo has only improved, and I think he'd go in there and have a stoppage, you know, similar to what he had against Billy Joe, you know, mid-round stoppage.
But I still think, excuse me, that Triple G, I agree with you about Triple G, but I still think if you get those two in the ring, that Triple G would rise up. And I don't necessarily think he would win the fight, but I don't think it would be a blowout.
No, I mean, people didn't think the Billy Joe fight was a blowout. Obviously, he stopped him in the fashion that he did, but a lot of people had Billy Joe up in that fight. You know, he definitely had his moments. And I think Gennaidy would have his moments until, the night is cut short. That, in my opinion, and that's why they step in there. And, if it happens, so be it. Like I said, people need I feel like the weight difference would be huge. Canelo is now the natural 168-pound fighter. It's different. We saw him move up. It was 154 and a half, or 164 and a half with Chavez Jr. He wasn't able to get him out of there, but that was a 10.5-pound jump for Canelo. So moving up in weight for the first time in your career, I think will have an effect on Gennaidy should that third fight happen.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Canelo's done it. He's proven at 168.
And that's why they step in there. You're never going to know. Nobody knew on June 1st, 2019 that Andy Ruiz would go in there and just spark Anthony Joshua. Right. So that's why they step in there.
Right.
That's the beautiful thing about the fight game. And that's why, but that's just my opinion.
I wasn't done with that super chat because he had a little bit more left to it. But go ahead, George. I don't want you to lose your train
you
of
just
thought.
said the beauty of the game. It is. There's a lot of aspects of it that are beautiful. Like when Isaac Cruz fought Tank, no one knew who Isaac Cruz was.
Now he's a little star now.
And he. By the way, I saw him on one of the Fight Stars live cards.
Yep.
And he looks like he's at 168 now, or maybe 175. He's enjoying himself now. He's enjoying himself now. But that's the beautiful thing about the sport, that a guy can overnight make a name for himself and make some money. Now Isaac Cruz could be in the mix with all those lightweights.
Yeah, no,
he's kind of been in the mix in the media.
But now he's really now that he proved it against Tank.
He hasn't gotten that shot yet, though.
No, absolutely. And we were just in here talking about it with Bill Haney. We had Bill Haney last week, and we were just talking about that and how Isaac Cruz has definitely threw his name into the hat. Look, as far as Canelo goes, there's big money anywhere he goes. There is big money. I think that the biggest money, despite this new Dazn and Matchroom offer, I think the biggest money is still with Charlo. Because I don't foresee Dazn coming out with a $75 pay-per-view.
Well, they don't have the marketing plan.
So with Showtime, it was just proven there was a lot of questions. How many pay-per-views is Canelo gonna do? And 800,000 was a total success. Ness and I were there at the fight. It was a sellout. Anywhere Canelo goes is gonna sell out. We were just discussing a Charlo fight.
Some places more than others, though. That's what J Mac isn't understanding. Like, yes, Canelo's gonna sell, but depending on the fighter, it'll sell more. Depending on the place, it'll do better.
No, absolutely. And to me, it's like a fight. He goes to Texas where you have real fight fans, such as LA and New York. You can do a stadium fight. In Vegas, it's a lot harder. The ticket's a lot higher. Vegas is more of not so much a fight town. People come here for the fights, but you don't have your locals. But, obviously stadium fights, it's the same thing, did a 16,000 person gate against Caleb Plant do more financially than a 73,000 person gate against Billy Joe and AT&T? Things like that. Obviously, the bigger the venue, the cheaper the tickets are going to be. But I think a fight with Charlo, you take it to Dallas, which is right up the road from Houston. Canelo's been proven out there. He just did 73,126 in Arlington. You take it there. Charlo's going to bring his people from Houston. They're going to show up like they've never showed up, And I was just saying earlier how, when they fight out there, they're not sellouts. But the people still show out, and that's against lower level opposition. The fight of your life in a Canelo Alvarez, I'm sure you'll have 10,000 plus make the trip from Houston to Dallas, along with the fans that Canelo bring out. You're talking 80,000 people.
For Charlo.
85,000 for Canelo Charlo at AT&T Stadium.
Hopefully.
Absolutely.
Hopefully.
This stadium.
Let me finish up his super chat. He says GGG at 40 is still better than a prime Billy. GGG passed his best, but their styles mesh well. Go ahead, George.
Well, I was just saying, coming over to the studio this morning, I passed the stadium. What's the stadium called?
Allegiant.
Have they talked about having a fight there?
Wilder Fury was rumored to be there in the early beginning, but the pandemic was still kind of in there. Right. Let me go to Coach Myers in Connecticut on Skype. Coach Myers, what is up? Coach Myers.
No, Coach Myers.
Let's see what's going on. We got J-Mac with another counterpunch in the meantime. Coach Myers, let us know where you are. And it looks like Rais Aleem should be here shortly. J-Mac attack. Yep, we hear you.
Hey, what was said? We're talking. Damn, man. Some of you guys should have been managers, analysts, accountants. Y'all not boxing fans. I keep hearing business. And Canelo, nobody needs to argue a point for Canelo. Canelo is paid. He will be able to live and feed his family for the rest of his life. All this number shit, it's about the best fighting the best. Y'all sitting up here crunching numbers and what have you to argue a point of what sells more when it's clearly not the best. They should change boxing to business.
I agree with you 100%. 100%.
You don't get to cut me off. You agree with me after the call. Hey, they should change boxing to business talk because it's more business going on than boxing. Actually, the best don't fight the best. In football, basketball, baseball, we get the best playing in the best. Boxing is the only sport where y'all get on here and change the narrative. What makes more business sense? You guys are not boxing fans. Y'all managers, accountants, and
I mean, you're gonna feel that way.
We're realists though, because
yes,
I mean,
that's what we are.
You have to be a realist.
Absolutely. That's what we
if you're
are.
A fan,
you know
it's about. Listen, if we could have this discussion, just talk about what are the best fights. It's a different conversation, but business is a part of it. It just is. It just is.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Without business, you have nothing.
You might get the fights, but obviously, that era was done as far as the Floyd paved the way for these fighters to get paid what they deserve to get paid. So once you start touching that money, you're not gonna go backwards. You have to maintain your lifestyle. You have to, honestly put some respect on what it is that you do. If Canelo has took pay cuts before. He just took one last year and
he took one versus Cotto. That's insane.
I think it was like a $10 or $15 million difference on that one. You get what I'm saying? Like, I know Canelo was 5. I want to say Cotto had the 15. But just did it last year because he knew, all right, cool, I have to defend my belt against Yildirim. That was in the contract when the WBC allowed for it to be fought in the Callum Smith fight. Took the pay cut there, but he knew bigger things were coming. He knew a potential unification with Billy Joe or Caleb Plant was coming. So, it is business because in a perfect world, bro, we would have had the Charlo fight at 54. But when you have promoters that don't do business with each other, when you have networks that don't do business with each other, and
Canelo just got in this situation. People act like he was in the driver's seat, like Golden Boy didn't have an invested interest. Like we didn't get every single ounce of paperwork and evidence that Golden Boy's revenue was 90% Canelo. So why would they let him fight certain fights or do certain things? And at the end of the day, it's still the fighter's decision. But if your team is advising you, you're going to pay attention because you don't want to lose your position. But I got Coach Myers in Connecticut available. What's up? On Skype, Coach. One time.
Man, Coach Myers.
He said he was there. All right, in the meantime, I'm going to read this super chat from Fred Robinson. Shout out to Fred. Let's go ahead and drop a bomb for my man Fred. He's just coming through all day. Where's the bombs? I don't know. Where's the bomb? There we go. Boom. All right. Texting Coach Myers asking where you are. In the meantime, we got Fred with the super chat who says, if I'm Dazn president, I'm pushing the 3-belt unification at 160. Then I have leverage to force Charlo on Dazn for undisputed. But it seems like GGG is protected. Absolutely right. You got GGG with the IBF. You got Murata with the WBA. You got Andre with the WBO. Put those guys in a fight. But GGG is protected. Why? Because it's a business. And this business understands that Gennaidy and Canelo is the big business. So why would I put Gennaidy in a fight where he can lose to Andre, so then I turn around and have Andre Canelo, which isn't going to do as well commercially for my business. But boxing fans don't get it.
Let me ask you this, because obviously that'd be a unification and Andre and Triple G. But do you foresee the Murata fight not happening for Triple G? Because that's also a unification fight.
No. But he can unify with Murata and then unify with Andre and force Charlo to DAZN. You want to be undisputed? Come on over. Come on down. Remember that show game? Video. What it was? It was a game show. Brad Savage. Again, I'm trying Coach Myers. Are you there? Are you with me? Are you with me? Let me double check this.
Yeah.
Oh, there he goes. What's going on, brother?
Damn, it's hard to get a hold of you, huh, Ness?
Bro, we've been trying you. Wait till you hit a playback. We've said your name 20 times over
here. Because I was on Blog Talk, and Blog Talk, you can't hear nothing but y'all. So I didn't know what was going on. There's Skype, I couldn't get on there, so I didn't know what the hell was going on. But how y'all been, man? Back in Vegas, I see.
Back in Vegas, brother. I tried to get with you, man. I thought we was going to do breakfast.
You wasn't going to get with me. Ness, I invited you to tailgate the Pro Bowl. Pro Bowl ticket.
How I'm a tailgate? You know I had to be in the studio. I could do breakfast. That's what I hit you bright and early.
Pro Bowl, Ness.
Bro, I don't do football.
The sport, but it's a Pro Bowl. I have Pro Bowl tickets, man. What you mean?
Yeah, but that's
hold up for the show.
That's like having RuPaul tickets to me. Like I don't know nothing about that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you hear Ness? He turned down Pro Bowl tickets. I respect your grind, though. I
was in studio. I was just trying to get with you in the morning so I could go back to working, you know.
Yeah, we got up early tailgate because the Pro Bowl started at 12, you know. Vegas is early time.
Yeah,
so
we were on our way to the studio. Other people were making their way to the game, so I was telling us, I was like, we should move the Sunday show up, you know, to not interfere with the Super Bowl.
But I've never done that. I've always just done the show, even though the Super Bowl's
he's
there.
He's a straight boxer. He don't care what's going on. It could be the election. He's still going to do a boxing show.
Word.
But keep it going, man. But that's my call.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you for the support, man. I wish we would have got together, man. I was out here alone. I don't think my lady came with me when I was just here. Who's next up on the super chat? Looking like we got Brad Savage. Damn. Y'all must have forgot Canelo not fighting Mexicans. Clown emoji. I doubt that's true, man. Honestly, I really, really do doubt that's true. I think that's just, propaganda to find another way to hate on him. He's already fought Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. And with the shit that Benavidez is talking, I'm sure it'll come a time for Canelo to, shut his mouth.
You know, and of course, that's also a fight that the fans
want.
You know, obviously, Benavidez, a very fan-friendly style. He's known for those, high punch number combinations and a huge size advantage over Canelo.
You mean high output and combination punching.
Right. So, we'll see him with the 8-10 punch combination. So that's a fight that a lot of people feel Canelo could lose to Benavidez, huge size difference. So I do believe that we will see Canelo in there with the Mexican-American and David Benavidez.
Yeah, I love
Bitcoin
Benavidez.
at 45,000. Let's go, Bitcoin. You can do it. No? Nobody's Bitcoin fans? Jaime Nieto with another one. He says, I got Plant beating Canelo. Excuse me. I got Plant beating Charlo. Can't see Charlo knocking out Plant. And I see Plant outboxing him. Charlo couldn't KO Montiel. No way he knocks out Plant. What's your guys' thought? I didn't think Plant would get knocked out by Canelo, so I'm a bit biased here. I did see him get knocked out, so now I need to actually see him back. Like, is he still the Plant of before? Or did Canelo take something from him?
We'll have to wait and see. But stylistically, I like the fight. I
Mm-hmm.
think it'd be a chess match fight. I think that it'd be an entertaining and close fight, but we'll have to wait and see. We haven't seen Charlo since the Montiel fight last summer, and we,
Horrible fighter.
Charlo? Montiel?
I don't know. That was Canelo.
Okay.
Maybe he watched the Montiel fight.
We have to see, did Canelo do so much damage to Plant that Plant won't be the same? I mean, it was a close fight. He took some damage at the end, but yeah, I want to look. That's a fight I want to see. I want to see Plant and Charlo fight. That's a good fight.
I like that fight.
That's a good fight.
But it ain't gonna happen because they're gonna keep Charlo undefeated to get that Canelo shot.
Why? Because it's a business.
Who tell me what I can't do and blah 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 bullshit. A lot of you live believable lives.
Charlo needs to
and
try
you've
to
accomplished believable things.
try to accomplish unbelievable things. Step up because you got definitely Plant on Charlo's neck with this fight. Like, yo, since you said it indirectly, I'm saying it. Let's make it happen. End of the year. So it still does give Charlo the opportunity to fight Canelo though, because Plant wants it end of the year. You can fight Canelo Cinco de Mayo, win or lose. I still want Plant Charlo, right? You guys still want that?
100%.
No, absolutely, absolutely. And, that, to me, like I said, it'd be a close chess match type of fight. I was there when they ran into each other after the weigh-in for Canelo Plant. And, Charlo walked up to Plant, told him, handle business. I'm rooting for you, but, I got you on the list. So,
yeah.
To me, whenever it happens, whether Charlo fights Canelo first in May and then, where the fight planned towards the end of the year, however it worked out, that'd be a fight I'd totally be, be all for. So
me too. Looks like we got Fred Robinson with another one.
Payday. You want payday. I know that.
Shout out to you, Champ. We appreciate you. Every scenario involves Charlo dropping a title to fight for no title. What's really going on? Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. But we got another one from Jaime Nieto. Shout out to you, man. You guys are really coming through today. Let me go ahead and ring the alarm. I got Plant beating Charlo. Can't see Charlo knocking out Plant. And I read that already. The fuck? Hi, we got James Benitez. This says, Ness, let's talk this, what happened to Charlo. Ness, let's talk this, what happened to Charlo, energy to Jacobs. Oh, okay. I had to decipher that. But he's talking, when Jacobs ran down on Charlo in Barclays Center, you know what I mean? He was kind of like, wanting some of that Charlo energy. But then he started talking money. He said, you ain't seeing no M's. But he goes on to say, see if that fight would have ever happened, Charlo may have already fought Canelo. Very true. That fight would have put him on the map without a doubt.
Absolutely.
I still want that fight for him.
Man.
Well, we have to see how Danny looks this weekend. A lot of people are picking John Ryder. I guess we'll wait and see what occurs. But all these fights, people earlier were saying we need to stop talking about it's a business and we're not fans. Because we are fans, we understand that it's a business, and we understand the reality of boxing and knowing that a lot of the times, more often than not, the fights we want to see are not the fights we get because of promotional issues, because of TV deal issues. It's the reality of being a boxing fan. And we may not like it, but at the end of the day, we'll embrace it in the sense of let's be real, let's be realistic, and understanding what it is that can and cannot happen in the sport.
I agree with that caller that business ruins boxing sometimes. You know what else I liked? I think he called you Chicago guy and me HBO guy. Like I don't like. Okay, I'll be HBO guy.
Yo, I just don't understand because he said a couple. I don't think I look like Doomy.
I know. James Benitez says, since the guys were not on yesterday, do they buy the BS with Boots? Does Boots really undispute 4 divisions? I call major cap. Sean is right about Boots. Boots emoji. So I guess he means since you were not on, because you were on, right?
Not yesterday.
No. Oh, yeah, that's right. I did that from home. So Sean Porter called Boots overrated. They say it's out of context, but what do you guys think?
I think maybe overrated was the wrong word. maybe he should have used a different word. Because look, I love Boots too, but the fact is he has not been in against a champion. He hasn't won any belts yet. So overrated may have been the wrong word that Sean used, but I see we have someone here.
Yeah, we have Rai Salim in the building, so it looks like you can come join us, my friend. If you're ready, we're ready for you. Just watch your head there. So let's ask you, do you live in Vegas?
Yeah. Vegas is
turn
home.
his mic on. Thank you. Oh, Vegas is home. Good. Oh, you look wide awake, though, so you're an early morning guy or what?
Yeah. I'm an early bird.
Oh, good. I was a little afraid we had to wake you up and get you out of bed, man.
Nah. It's all good.
So you're looking pretty slim and in shape, man. Are you staying active or are you running? What are you doing?
I'm staying active. I struggled to make weight my last fight.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was crazy. So I've been meeting with the dietitian, and the goal is to get to where I need to be a lot sooner than later.
Okay.
You're gonna stay at 122?
Yeah. If I struggle to make weight like I did last time, I'll be forced to move up because I just can't put myself in that position. But the goal is to stay at 122 and win the title there.
And is there a plan? Obviously, there's two people, with some decent names on the PBC side of things, Brandon Figueroa and Stephen Fulton. They faced each other. Is the plan to maybe get you in with one of them?
That's the goal. That was my plan, but we haven't heard anything. I'm waiting to get that call any day now to know for sure. So I do want that Fulton fight. Hopefully it comes in April or May.
Now, I see Fulton. I'm sorry, you had something?
Yeah, no, I was obviously going to say, obviously the last time we saw you Thanksgiving weekend, right up the street at the Park MGM, on the card of Fulton and Figueroa. Just wanted your thoughts on, how that fight played out. Very exciting fight, a very close fight. Fulton edging it out, but just your thoughts on, as a fan and obviously as a potential,
potential foe or opponent.
Well, it was a great fight. In my opinion, I think Figueroa won that fight. I think he kind of dictated it, but I just feel like he won that fight. But Fulton impresses me. He's a great fighter. He is a champ. He is the champ. He's the man to beat in the division, and I want that shot at him. But it was a great fight. I think Figueroa got robbed, but that's just my opinion.
Now, based off that performance, is there anything you see that you can capitalize on? Something that you've seen and you're like, man, that would have been me.
Well, I feel like I'm cleaner than Figueroa, but Fulton was right there. Figueroa imposes his will on you. So especially in the championship rounds, the 8th, the 9th, the 10th, 11th, 12th, Fulton was right there. And he had no give. So my endurance and stamina has to be 100%. And I'm just sharper and cleaner than Figueroa. So I think that would be my path to victory.
Now, obviously, the title shot is what you want, rightfully so. But we just got done seeing another PBC top guy at 122 and Luis Gennaidy come back. First fight since getting knocked out by Brandon Figueroa. I'm sure you were tuned in. I'm sure you caught it. What'd you make of his performance? And how do you break down a potential future fight with Luis Gennaidy?
Well, I was actually there ringside, checking it out, and I wasn't impressed with Neri. He dropped Castro in the first round, and Castro looked like he was gun shy, like he was scared to get hit. He's just not a true warrior. But I wasn't impressed with Neri. Fulton impresses me. I think he's a great fighter. Neri, I would love that fight. So I have to get through whoever I have to get through next, and I definitely want that fight at 22 for sure.
Was it me, or do you think that Neri is pretty wide with his punches and I mean like loopy?
Oh.
He did get the knockdown straight down the middle with the left, but after that I felt like everything was very wide and loopy, or am I wrong? Obviously you're the fighter.
100%. He was throwing some wide looping shots. Castro was straight up and down. He held his composure good. He had his hands up, but when Neri had some bursts, those punches kind of got through. And he had no defense, no rows, no steps, no pivots, no nothing. Especially when a fighter's throwing those wide punches, you got to get around them. So yeah, 100%.
So there's not, I'm sorry, George, but there's not many names that you can fight. So, you're going to be forced to tell us here. Is it Angelo Leo, Daniel Roman, or Figueroa off the loss? Because PBC doesn't have a lot of 22-pounders that they do business with.
Well, like I said, I'm waiting to get details. I should be hearing something any day now, but I would love to fight with Roman because we were actually supposed to fight in like September, and then they're saying like they never got an offer, which they did, but he wanted like $500,000, you know. But yeah, I would love to fight Roman April, May. I'm just waiting on details. So right now I have no idea who it is.
So in a perfect world though, because we've been having a long talk about boxing and business and all that. But in your perfect world, who are you fighting next?
I'm fighting Fulton. You know, I was on the undercard. You know, that's the second time on his undercard. I think I could beat him. He's the man to beat in the division. Yeah, that's the fight that I want.
Now, you think you've always thought you can beat him, or watching the Figueroa fight, did it reveal itself?
No. I feel like you put him in front of me, I'll find a way to beat him. But I've always thought that I could beat him. It's not just the Figueroa fight. I mean, he's an impressive fighter, especially to be able to hold his own against the Figueroa, who has to impose his will on you to beat you. But no, I just feel like I can beat him.
Would you want an Angelo Leo before you got in there with Fulton just to prepare, or you don't need preparation?
I mean, honestly, it doesn't matter. You know, I've never had the luxury like these other fighters to pick who I want to fight. You know, it's like, put me in the game, coach. Oh, this is who we fighting? Okay, let's go. That's literally how it's always been.
Now, walk us through your last fight. Obviously, did come out successful, majority decision. Fought a very tough fighter in Eduardo Baez, who had only lost to Mauricio Lara, right, coming fresh off that high.
And Lara got the big upset knockout over Josh Warrington.
Yep. So, you know, obviously a very very tough, valid opponent. But, you know, you did mention you struggled to lose weight. Did that have a lot to do with the performance?
Oh man, the weight was it was crazy, but not only that, you know, I was going through so much outside of the ring to where I probably shouldn't even have fought. You know,
like what? What was going on?
Well, like, you know, depression and mental illness. You know, like that's just real. You know, like there was times in training camp to where I'm on my way to the gym to grind, and I'm pulling over on the side of the road, and I'm breaking down trying to, you know.
But what's causing you to break down? Is it the struggle of the boxing career, not getting to the certain point financially that you wanted? What has you stressing or at least thinking?
Well, I mean, that always plays a factor. You know, boxing's a lonely sport. You know, that always plays a factor. You know, we have hidden demons that we fight and whatnot. But missing my daughter, you know, she lives in Arizona now, so she's a lot closer. But I'm in camp. I can't really, you know, I got to move a certain way. You know, and then there's other private things, you know, that I was just trying to overcome. So it was just a lot. But at the end of the day, we're warriors. So when we climb in the ring, there's no excuses. You know, you got to put that mask on and you got to show up. But besides that, I was cutting weight, and I was up 24 hours cutting weight. I had cramps. You know, that's never happened. It was the first time in my career to where I felt the effects of cutting weight. You know, so that's why it like really hit me like, yo, I got to meet with a dietitian. I got to do something. Otherwise, I got to move up, you know, and the goal is to win it at 22 and then win it at 26 and then win it at 30, you know, so yeah.
You know, you opened up about dealing with depression. How have you dealt with it? Have you seen someone? Because it's something that people, especially in boxing, never used to talk about. But it's real for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has their own way of dealing with things. You know, like my trainers didn't know what was up. My manager, my promoter, you know, like you walk in the gym with a smile on your face because you got to grind. But, you know, on the inside, you're kind of fucked up. But yeah, I've been talking to somebody off and on and stuff like that, you know, just trying to stay focused and do what I have to do.
So 31 years old, man. I got a question here from Rue in the 504 New Orleans. He says, how do you see 2022 playing out for you?
Man, this is a huge year. You know, I'm right there in the mix. I'm at the top. I'm aging like wine. You know, it's you know, it's a huge year. So my next fight is gonna speak volumes. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter where it is. But that will be a huge fight, and that's gonna dictate the rest of this year for sure.
Are you with Louis DeCubas by any chance? Who's your manager?
Yeah, you know, Greg Hanley and Prince Ranch boxing, you know, but Al Heyman, you know, Louis, and Sam Watson, you know what I'm saying? So, like, I'm in the mix with everything. I'm a Heyman fighter.
Okay, beautiful.
Yo, last week we had numerous Heyman fighters in the building.
Yeah.
And we have to ask,
have you ever seen him?
No. I'm yet to see him.
Yo, we
had a
like
conversation with
1-400.
him.
Oh, so he called you. He's called you.
Well, like a 3-way type of thing. You know, I've had a conversation
Does
with
his
him.
voice sound mysterious?
Yo,
like,
that's so
this is Al
crazy.
Heyman. Does it sound mysterious on the
it's
phone?
calmer. It's calmer. It's like, so Rais, how are you?
Well, I mean,
that was a great performance.
What, you know, hey, all Al Heyman does is boxing.
Yeah.
You know, so no favorites, just this, that, boxing, business is business. But and that's the way he does business, so you got to respect it.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy how many PBC fighters we've had. And we had Lucas Santamaria, who was on the undercard
Mario Barrios
of
and
Thurman
Thurman.
Barrios. And he was like, yeah, man, shout out to Al. Like, he's really changed my life. Like, I can do this and that for my family. And we asked him, like, yo, you ever met him? He's like, nah. You ever talked to him? He's like, nah, I ain't never even talked to him, but he's changed my life.
Wow.
That's good enough, though.
I mean, hey, you ain't got to talk to him. You could talk to his right-hand man in Sam Watson.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like the next best thing.
But you know, it's always that mystery with Al, right? You Google him, there's like 3 pictures of Al on the internet, you know, so... You know, I think that's starting to become a question we like to ask PBC fighters.
How'd you hook up with him, or with the team, rather?
That's through my promoter and Marshall Kaufman, King's Promotion.
Oh, shout out to Marshall. Okay.
Yeah. You know, I love Marshall. You know, he gave me an opportunity when a lot of other people were dragging their feet. You know, was in talks with Top Rank and Golden Boy and Victory, and you know, at the time I went like 2.5 years without a fight.
Wow.
And I just moved to Vegas training myself. I had the opportunity to fight a 8-0 fighter with like 8 knockouts, coming off a knockout victory, you know. Dropped him in the first round, dominated that fight, and that started the domino effect, you know. But that was my first fight in Vegas.
Yeah.
You know, so that's how I got hooked up with Marshall, and, you know, that's how I got here.
So when you moved to Vegas, did you have a plan, or did you just say, I'm going to Vegas? Did you have someone waiting for you? Do you have a house? Did you have talk to a coach? Was there a trainer waiting for you? Like, what was your...
out?
Yeah, because I met some fighters. I think Louis Cubaseries just drove out. Caleb just drove out. I mean, there's a lot, so I want to just hear your story.
Well, so I moved out here with no family, no friends, just me pursuing my career. Like I said, it was like 2.5 years on the shelf for no reason. I was with Cameron Duncan. I asked him to release me. He did, so that influenced my move. Like,
how long ago was that?
Oh, man, this was, well, I've been living in Vegas for 4 years, so it had to have been about 5.
Oh, so that was before. 4. Is that, would you assume it was before he found Christ? Or do you remember on your phone calls him always saying, God bless Jesus Christ? Because he's real full-blown Christian now.
Well, that's good. You know, good for him. That's what's up.
Yeah.
I
can't remember?
You know, I think he had some stuff going on with like high blood pressure.
Yeah.
Stuff
No,
like
he did
that,
go through some stuff, and then I guess he found God and came on the other side of that.
That's what's up. That's good to hear. I know Crawford, you know,
was with him. Mikey was with him.
Right, but
Boots is with him now.
But like, you know, he wasn't really picking up the phone. You know, like there was a time, so I'm itching for a fight. Oh, can you fight in Mexico? Yeah, this is like a week's notice, and then I don't hear anything.
Yeah.
Like, what type of shit? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And like, you know, so it's stuff like that. But like, he released me, and then I did have a plan. So Nonito Donaire, he had flew me out to one of his training camps.
Okay.
You know, and I worked with Nonito.
Which fight? Do you know which fight?
I don't. I just know he won that fight. You know what I'm saying? That's all I know. But that was my first time kind of in Vegas by myself. And then it kind of hit me like, yo, if I'm going to continue boxing.
Was that the first elite level, world-class fighter you've been in a camp with? Because sparring and camp is 2 different things.
Well, years before that, my boxing coach from Michigan, my original trainer, who's like my father figure, he's still part of Team Aline. We talk like every single day. He flew me out to Vegas to train a few years before that. So we were at the Mayweather's gym training, and I was supposed to spar with at Becco, but
Joseph.
Yeah, Joseph at Becco, but something happened with his shoulder. So then we end up sparring with Jesse Magdaleno. This is before he was the champ and stuff like that. He probably had 15 fights at that time. You know, so that was very competitive, great sparring.
And
stuff
back
like
then,
that.
before his loss, he was a little dog. He thought he could beat Rigo. I got interviews. He's like, I want Rigo right now.
Jesse's my guy. You know, we spar off and on all the time. You know, that's my guy.
Is he still trains with
Capetillo?
Yeah, Hort George, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah, but so, you know, then a few years later, you know, Nonito flew me out, went to training camp with him. It's my first time in Vegas for a year. Was there for a month.
Wow. So you spent the year?
Oh, no, my bad. I was there for a month.
Okay.
You know, but I was by myself, and I just told myself, like, if I'm going to keep boxing, I have to move to Vegas. Like, this is, you know, I'm from a small town in Muskegon, Michigan, nobody's heard of. You know, you have to travel to get work. I didn't spar pro until I was pro, you know, and I had a plan. And when I got down here, the apartment I was supposed to get, something happened. So there was a hiccup in that. So I had to stay in a weekly for like,
a weekly hotel.
Yeah, a weekly hotel for like 2-3 weeks.
So you came down here and you didn't know any other fighters?
No fighters. I didn't have a gym set up. I didn't have a trainer set up. But the gym that I sparred Jesse at, I was like, you know what? Let me go there. Pat Barry's gym. Because, you know, I sparred there. So, you know, I started to work with Pat. But, you know, he had some other things going on. So then I started to work with Augie Sanchez. You know, shout out to Augie. But, you know, he's working with the Olympic team and stuff like that. So our interests kind of didn't really align. Kind of bounced around with the City Athletic, couldn't find a trainer. Had another chance to spar with Nonito Donaire at a Bones Adams gym.
Okay.
And so I did that.
Bones stay with that good work. He stayed with a lot of names over there. Devin's over there now.
And then Bones started to train me and stuff like that. And yeah, so.
So you're with Bones now?
No, I'm not with Bones anymore. We just kind of had our differences. So when I was at Barry's boxing gym, I met my homeboy Bobby. You know, we were around the same age, and we would hit the mitts off and on. Like, if I was sparring and I didn't have nobody to work my corner, I'd call Bobby like, hey, you want to work my corner, blah, blah, blah. So after me and Bones split, I hit Bobby up, you know, and we just start kind of talking about business because a lot of things that he says to me resonates, you know. So he just started to coach me, and then I was like, yo, I got a fight coming up. Me and Bones ain't working with each other no more. Like, you know, what's up? Like, you want to do this or not? I had my trainer from Michigan come out and work my corner for that fight. And then my next fight, Bobby worked my corner, and he's been my trainer ever since.
So Muskegon, how do you get involved in boxing in Muskegon, Michigan? You have to be the best boxer to ever come from Muskegon. You have to be.
Yeah.
You're in the Hall of Fame in Muskegon. You have to.
100%.
So how do you get involved in boxing? Because I don't know. I don't even know where Muskegon is.
Well, it's 30 minutes from Grand Rapids.
Okay.
Where Floyd Mayweather's originally from. 4 hours from Detroit. But Kenny Lane. You know, Kenny Lane used to live in Muskegon, and he used to have like a fight club and stuff like that. And I've been athletically on my feet since I was 3. I got my black belt in karate, and then I started boxing. And yeah, I went to Kenny's gym, but that's how I met my original trainer, Terry Markowski. And the rest is history. I just kind of stuck with that. And we had to travel to Chicago, Ohio, Detroit consistently, or even Grand Rapids, because, you know, Muskegon, like, ain't, you know what I'm saying? Like, ain't nothing going on. So, yeah. You know.
And here you are. You're in Vegas.
Yeah. I've been waiting to go back. You know, I got 2 belts, but I'm waiting to win the world title to go back and have, like, a big fan meet and greet and, you know, pictures, autographs, all that stuff.
So when was the last time you went home?
The last time I went home was before the pandemic. You know, before
so you got like two and some change then.
Yeah.
Wow. I got James Valdez in San Antonio, Texas. He says, I've seen a few of your fights on Showtime. They were great fights. I look forward to following your career. I see you as a reigning world champion soon. Thanks for coming on the show. So no question, just love.
Appreciate it. A lot of hard work and sacrifice. Like, nothing's been given to me. Unlike the Fultons of the world, because like nobody gave me a chance to fail. That's my thing.
What do you mean, like what they gave Fulton? He come from Philly. He gonna receive that differently and say, I had to work just like you.
Right.
Plus, if you look at Fulton's resume, I know for a fact, pull it up, he probably fought more undefeated fighters than anyone in this division.
Now, I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it, and I'm not saying he's not a hard worker. He's a great fighter. He impresses me as a fighter. But what I'm saying is, I don't know if it has to do with where you're from. You know what I'm saying? Versus if I was born in Vegas, if I was born in New York, born in Cali and boxing,
Philly,
you know what I'm saying? Like, it would have been snapping off. But like, okay, I was with Cameron Duncan. nothing, you know, and I was winning all my fights. I was still stopping guys, and just didn't believe in me enough to give me a chance to fail, to give me a chance to put me out there and really see what I can do. You know, the reason I move the way I move now is because I took the keys to my life and my career. I could still be in Muskegon, stocking shelves at a grocery store, working a part-time job, trying to box, hoping and praying for a fight. But I took the keys to my life and my career. I moved to Vegas, no family, no friends. And I made this shit happen. Like, I got myself here, you know? So, yeah, it's just a lot of sacrifice.
10 undefeated fighters, champ. That's insane. And he's only got 20 fights.
And that's why I want to fight him. You know what I'm saying? Because he's considered the best in the division. So I want to fight the best of the best.
That's official. They need to start using that as a marketing, like, with, you know, the reigning, defending champion, the only man to fight. Because, 10 undefeated fighters is impressive, man.
And he fought. I know. Steph fought some guys that still went on to have success early on. He fought Joshua Greer, like his 5th fight. He fought Adam Lopez early on in his career too. But you know, just moving on to you, champ. Obviously, we want to see you in the ring more often. Last year you got 2 fights in, but they were 10 months apart. You know, I'm gonna go ahead and assume you would like to be more active. You know, in a perfect world, when would you like to get back in the ring?
You know,
March, April. No, you've been saying April, May,
right? Yeah, April, May. But, you know, I'd like to fight 3 times. You know, like, I came out of this fight, no cuts, you know, no aches and pains and stuff. So I was hoping to already have been back in the ring, you know, but a lot of it's out of my control. You know, sometimes it's boxing politics, and, you know, they got to fight a guy. They have to find somebody who actually wants to fight me, which has also been hard my whole career, is finding a fight. Now, he could be undefeated or whatnot. Like I came off a 2.5-year layoff, and I fought an undefeated fighter, you know, who was Marcus Bates, 8-0 with like 8 knockouts or whatever. And Bones was telling me, oh, why would, this was before we were working, but I was in his gym. Like, oh, why would you want to take that fight? Yo.
Why not?
You know, move along. You're trying to move along.
I don't got a choice. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what I do. This is what I'm trying to do. Let me prove it to everybody. And that's what I did.
What do you walk around at? Because I know it's been tough for you to make 122. So you don't seem to be a guy that blows up to like 160, 170 in between fights.
No, I don't blow up that much. Like, you know, if I blow up, I'll be at like 142, 143, you know what I'm saying? That's probably like the highest I'll actually blow up, you know.
It's not bad, 18 pounds.
Yeah, 20 pounds.
Chavez did that all day when he fought at 54. He was ballooning up to 22 pounds on fight night.
But, you know, them bigger guys, they got a little bit more they can lose. Like, you know, when you're fighting at 22 and you're getting up to the 150 and 160, ooh, or even 26, it's, you know, it's just, it takes a lot out of you.
So what has bringing in that nutritionist brought to you, you know,
how's it help?
You're not necessarily in camp, but I know you stay in the gym. I know Bobby. You know, how has that helped you, you know, in the gym and things that you've seen?
So far, so good. You know, it seems to be working. This is my first time ever working with a nutritionalist, you know, so it's a little too early to really speak on it, but so far it seems pretty good.
How many weeks or days?
It's probably been about 3.5 weeks, creeping up on 4.
Okay.
You know,
is it foods that look different, or is it just the taste and the seasoning of it? Because
a little bit of both. You know, like I say this all the time. I'm a salty nigga. You know what I'm saying? I put salt on like everything. You know, so you know.
So what? Salt is bad because of the sodium?
Yeah, you know, you kind of
cutting weight.
Yeah, you want to limit your salt intake and, you know, sodium and all that. You know, so a little bit of the seasoning is a little bit different. Some of the foods are a little bit different, but nothing too crazy.
More fish? Has he been implementing more fish or no?
Some salmon here and there, and just you know, just a wide variety of things that are supposed to be healthy for you. Because I've been able to get away with just eating whatever I want to eat. You know, so this is the first time to where I'm kind of, boom. This is just how I'm eating.
Whose idea was it to bring in the strength and conditioning? the nutritionist.
It was my idea. After, you know, I just never want to put myself in that position again, because I'm talking about, I almost didn't pass the physical. You know what I'm saying? Blood pressure. You know, I had to do blood pressure about 3 times. You know, and like I'm in that struggling, and you know, it's just for no reason I put myself in that situation.
So, how'd you get the recommendation for this guy?
You know, I talked to some fighters and stuff and see who they're working with. You know, I read some reviews on Google and stuff like that. You know, so yeah.
So who's he worked with in the past?
Was actually a lady.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Keith Thurman used to use his aunt.
Okay. I don't know their names off the top of my head, but you know, she has worked with some other fighters and stuff like that.
Just you know, trying to figure it out. Coach Myers says, "Have you ever sparred or been in camp with Tremaine Williams?" That's another good fight, man. Tremaine got that fight short notice on Showtime and then lost to Leo, and he ain't been back.
I was supposed to fight him for that fight, but Fulton got COVID, so then you know that kind of messed up the card. They switched things around, and he ended up fighting Leo. And me and Leo was in camp for that fight, you know. So Leo could have chose me to fight, but he chose Tremaine. You know, like he hasn't fought since then, but yeah, we were already supposed to fight.
I like Tremaine, man. I watched him, I think, once or twice in Connecticut, and then he got that fight with Leo, and I told people, like, don't sleep. They thought Leo was going to blow through him. You know, he fought the wrong fight. Like, he stood in the pocket too long with Leo. He was trying to prove something. I ain't get it, but he still did very well in the fight, to me, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think he did good. Leo's a pressure fighter. You know, he wants to put his forehead on your chest. If you let him, he'll do it all night. So Tremaine, I don't really think he could box for the full 12. That's why he had to stand toe-to-toe.
That's stamina, man. That's the issue in boxing. If you ain't got that tank,
endurance, and you know, and that's another reason why Fulton impresses me so much. You know, in beating a fighter in Brandon Figueroa has to impose his will on you, puts your body on you, pushing forearms and stuff like that. And Fulton was right there every round. You know, so that's very impressive.
I got Steve in the UK that says, "Hey, Rais, thanks for coming on the show. If you could fight any 122, 126 pounder from history, who would it be and why?" Once again, thanks for coming on the show, Steve in the United Kingdom.
Ooh,
wow.
Oh man, that's
How much did Ahmed weigh? How much did Ahmed weigh?
Ahmed was 126.
There you go. It's got to be
Prince
him, right? He's the most infamous.
Oh shit! That's
Isn't he the most famous featherweight
Yeah.
of the like? Who's more popular than Prince Nassim Hamed?
And where was he from?
United Kingdom.
United Kingdom. That's right.
Yeah, but he made a name for himself.
Yo,
it was the way he walked into the ring. He used to flip over the rope. I remember
the swag. You know what I'm saying?
Even in the
The
fights.
confidence. Oh yeah.
Yeah, even in the fights, hitting a shimmy, putting his hands up, sticking his tongue out, talking shit.
And knocking people out too, the way he did.
That'd be a dope ass fight. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Who is it?
I take that. I pay to see that.
Yeah, you know, Hasim, like, yeah.
Are you a fighter? Because we've spoke to a lot of fighters. Obviously, a lot of fighters don't watch film. Are you a fighter that watches film?
Or are you the fighter that says you don't watch film, but you really do?
So like, I'll watch their last current fight, and then I'll watch it once. You know, like the dude I fought, Eduardo Baez, Vic Pasillas, Marcus Bates. You know what I'm saying? I watch their most current fight, and then I watch it once, and I'll really analyze it. You know what I'm saying? And just, you know, it sticks with me or whatever. And then I leave the rest up to my coaches and my trainers and stuff like that. They can dig through the film because I got too much shit to do.
How does it help you when you watch? You say you watch one fight and you really watch it. How does it help you? Because some fighters say, I don't need to watch.
Yeah, they say if they watch tape, they end up focusing on things they seen that may not show up in the fight.
So yeah, how does it help you?
It helps me just to see how they are. You know, it's like, oh, he's a pressure fighter. Oh, he's a boxer. Okay, he's a little bit of both. Oh, he's good on his feet. You know, he doesn't really have power. You know what I'm saying? It kind of tells me some things I'd like to know heading into the fight. You know, I've never really dug down and watched film like this fight, that fight. I feel like that's overkill. For me, personally, I'll leave that to my trainers, but I will watch their most current fight and see what's up with that, and you know, move accordingly.
What about fighters from the past, or maybe even fighters in today's era? Is there fighters that you like to watch? Maybe pick some things up from, things like that.
Well, I used to be a big Keith Thurman fan, you know. So
Used to be.
Well, hey, you know, he was on the show for like what,
much.
2 years, 2.5 years, something like that.
900.
Duck me, son.
Keith coming for you, man.
Duck me, son.
Hey, you know, Keith ain't fighting 931 days, man. So it's
Yo, that's the past. He fought already.
But you know, hey, he fought Barrios. Great fight. Barrios was right there. You know, you let your guard down for a second, and you're getting hit with some shots. But I like Thurman's style. You know, he uses his feet and stuff like that. And I just try to pick things from certain fighters. You know, I used to like Abner Mares, some things that he used to do, and you know, different fighters. You know, I try to pick some things from Floyd. Pacquiao, you know, I actually am southpaw, but I fight orthodox. You know, I do like Pacquiao style and stuff. So yeah, just pick little things from different people.
Nice. I got a couple more here from the public. We got Brandon in Houston. If you had to pick, which of these traits is more important in boxing, athleticism or ring IQ?
I feel like it kind of goes hand in hand. I'd say ring IQ, but in order to really use the ring IQ to the best of your ability, you have to be athletic, you know. But if you weren't athletic at all and you had a strong ring IQ, I think you could still win the fight.
All right. Actually, yes, let me get to this one. I have James Benitez that says, thanks for coming on the show. I do want the Fulton fight and hope it happens. But since you're 31, how much longer you want to stay down and wait? If you moved up, would you fight Gary Russell Jr.? And was you impressed with Gary's performance with one arm versus Masiago? Glad you free from Cameron Duncan. Because he put Cam Dunk. I'm like, okay, Cameron Duncan.
Yeah. I you know, if the opportunity is there, I would fight Russell. You know, my goal staying at the 22-pound division is to win the world title and to defend it. Mm-hmm. You know, win it, defend it. Okay, what are the opportunities at 26? Who can I fight? A Navarrete, a Gary Russell? You know, it really doesn't matter. It's just where's the opportunity, you know? And, yeah, I would – Team Aline, hey, we got the pen. So send the contract. You know, for real. We're not ducking and dodging nobody. But Gary Russell fighting with one hand was impressive. I've sparred Mark before a few times. He used to train out here at Bones Gym. You know, he's a good fighter. He can hit a little bit. You know, Mark's got some power. But Russell fighting with one hand was impressive. I was kind of pulling for him, but I was kind of pulling for Mark too because, you know, I've worked with him a little bit. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of like a 50-50 fight for me. You know, whoever won, I'd be happy with.
But who did you see winning? Because honestly, I thought Russell did enough to win with one hand. I felt like he was schooling my man.
Yeah, I feel like he did land some more of the cleaner punches. I guess Mark was like the aggressor, you know, and sometimes you don't...
Ineffective aggression. And he wasn't really landing like that.
And then, like, sometimes Russell had his guard up, and I'm thinking he blocked some of those shots, but you don't really know what the judges are looking at, you know? Mm-hmm. You don't really know how the judges are scoring, you know? Mm-hmm. It's like, I feel like some of the scoring in boxing can be a lot better, or the guys who are outrageous should just kind of sit on the shelf, you know?
Especially, they need to be punished.
Especially with these championship fights, you know, look, you can work the undercards, but like...
Not even, bro.
Well, true, but
I think we'll change bad scoring if some of these judges weren't able to come to the fight. They would miss it. Right. A weekend in Vegas is now gone. Mm-hmm. They're not going to pay for their own flight. They're not going to pay for their own hotel. And they damn sure ain't going to pay for a ticket. So if you start cutting them off, they're going to start getting it right.
Yeah, it's, you know, and then sometimes it's bias, you know, like, you know, they have their favorites too because they're human.
Yeah.
Like, what can you say?
It's like I was telling him about Adelaide Bird. People think Adelaide Bird is a bad judge. She just likes Canelo's style. Mm-hmm. She's a Canelo fan. Like, I'm a fan of Thurman, so I'm going to see things in his favor. You know, I see him get punched and I don't see vulnerability. I don't see him, people write him off. He's weak to the body. No, I see an incredible, like, fighter that can take shots to the body and not go down. Where people taking a knee or they getting dropped, my man's taking out mouthpieces against a legend and not getting followed up on. Like, that is skill to me. But, you know, people interpret it differently.
And that's why, you know, I say you never really know what the judges are looking at. You know, one might be looking at the aggression. One might be looking at the body punches, or you never really know.
Do you ever think about that in a fight? You know, maybe you're halfway through or the fight's coming towards the end and you know you're winning the fight. And do you ever, like, is there ever a moment where you say, man, are these judges going to rob me?
Yeah.
Or are you just so focused on what's happening in the ring and it's like tunnel vision, or when you're sitting in the corner, is there a moment?
Well, first and foremost, I'm just straight up focused on what I have to do. But, you know, I'm not trying to leave it in the judges' hands. You know, I was on like a 7th Street knockout. You know, the only streak I really care about is my undefeated streak. But if you could take it out of the judges' hands, 100%, that's what you should do. When you leave it to them, it's up for chance. You might as well flip that coin unless it's clear, like clear. And and when you're at a certain level, it's hard to have that type of separation.
Now, obviously, you were on that knockout streak, and the last fight you had the weight issues, the issues outside of the ring. That was the only fight that went to decision, and it was majority. You've never had a split, but there was a majority. 2 cards were in your favor. One just did have it a draw. In that fight, gloves are off. You got your hand wraps, or maybe even the hand wraps are off, and you're in the center of the ring next to the ref, waiting for the official scorecards. Was there any you got some background noise there?
Yeah, that's Travis got to handle that.
Was there any moment where you were like, fuck, like, did I pull this one off?
I feel like I did enough to win, but like at the end of my fight, it was just so much raw emotion, just everything I went through outside the ring, and then the cutting weight and in the ring, from the first round, like my feet felt like I had bricks on them, my arms felt slow, and then I'm watching me fight, like, damn, for how I felt, I looked a lot better than, how I felt. So, it was a big moral victory. I felt like I did enough to win, but, once I heard that, draw or whatever,
right,
and I was like, oh, shit, I was like, hold up, what's going on? And, I ultimately, they gave it to me. But, it was kind of like, man, I can't put myself in that position again.
What's that feeling like? Like you just said, your legs didn't feel good. So when a fight starts, and because you know how you feel when you're sharp, when you feel that, when you say, oh no, like my legs don't feel quite right, what you as a fighter, what goes through your mind?
Well, I feel like when I'm sharp, crisp, and clear, nobody can beat me. Like, that's just how I feel. But man, going into the fight, like, I'm throwing punches in the locker room, and I'm huffing and puffing, and I was trying to like jump up and down to kind of like wake myself up, give me some energy, but it was just like, take your strong points, like your strengths, and throw them out the window. The things you worked on in camp, throw it out the window. Like right now, you have to just find a way to win against the guy you're in front of, because I couldn't do anything. Like I like there was a time, I think it was in like the second round, I hit him with a jab, and then I went to throw a 1-2, and my feet like didn't even move. I'm like, fuck. So all I can really do is kind of walk forward a little bit. And I was hoping he was going to try to be on the inside, because that would, I had him on his back foot most of the fight. So that would have made my life a lot easier. But it was, my mind was moving faster than my body. I could see the punch coming. I try to move, but I'm like a statue. So I get clipped, and I'm like, fuck. And just, you got to bite down on your mouthpiece and find a way. And that's what champions do. That's what I did.
We got the best dad ever in Baltimore. He says, if you could build a fighter, who would you put together? And obviously that's with attributes of other fighters. So would you put your own speed or Floyd's IQ? That's kind of what he's saying.
Oh, I mean, I would damn near take everything Floyd does, put that in a fighter, his IQ, his speed, and Pacquiao's ferociousness, his aggressiveness, Triple G's power or Canelo's power,
That's a fighter.
You're putting together a machine.
Ooh. Yeah, that'd be an amazing fighter.
Well, those are all the questions, Rais, man. I want to thank you, obviously, for coming into the studio and talking some boxing with us. I'm glad you came in without any official fight announcements. Since you're local to Vegas, you could come back with that big, bad breaking news and break it right here on the show. We appreciate you, man, and we can't wait to get you back on. Wish you the best of luck in your career. Obviously, you can go ahead and give out your social media for anyone who isn't following you can do so. But we appreciate you, brother.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys for having me. You can follow me on Instagram at Rais Aleem Boxing. Follow me in my career. I'm just an underdog trying to make it, trying to make it. From Muskegon, Michigan, but living in Vegas. This is home. So, yeah.
Let's go, man. Living a dream in Vegas.
100%.
Well, we appreciate you. We're going to go ahead and take an intermission so we can get a picture with Rais. We'll be right back with you guys in just a few seconds, finishing up any phone calls or super chats we might have left out there. So don't go away.
BoxingVoice.com.
Let's get that done. I've been here before, and I know what it takes. It's hard work, dedication.
BoxingVoice.com.
Mayweather is he's the best.
Win, lose, or draw, we coming to fight. Can't nobody take that away from us. We're coming to fight.
They do what they can, I do what I want.
When you look at how he throws that left hook, it starts out really low. We're going to see what kind of character he has.
Oh, and the lefts and rights by Maidana. And it's all Marcos Maidana here. A lot of those punches off his shoulder.
I think anybody out there listening or the key, anybody, you think that that's a dangerous deal to make. I think it's a perfect deal to make.
BoxingVoice.com.
15 minutes. Can you be strong for 15 minutes? Can you? Listen, the concentration is leaving a little bit. Pick it up. Pick it up!
Some things about we got to deal with his body shots. I don't think you want to be that close to us. He's talking about letting the left hook go, then you won't take the left hook. Let's get that done.
Look, the fire's coming. Are you ready for the fire? Look, we're firemen. We are
All right. I'm back. The guys are coming into the studio now. We wanted to go ahead and take that picture with Raees Halim and just have those memories. Shout out to the upcoming champ for coming into the studio and talking some boxing with TBV. George, I see you mic'd up, man. We're almost done. No, did you get breakfast? No breakfast, right?
No. You know, I'm still kind of on East Coast time because I just got out here. I didn't have breakfast, but I'm staying at the what's that hotel? The Aria.
Aria.
Now, one thing about it, I took a shower and the shampoo and the conditioner said if you use this, you'll smell like an Asian garden. So I didn't have breakfast, but I smell like an Asian garden.
An Asian garden.
So,
all right.
You know what? And this is why I love your platform. Meeting someone like Raees, like you just become a fan instantly of these guys. So the more fighters you have on, the more they get their name out there. Like I knew who he was, but I never met him. But I'm a fan of his now, and I can't wait to see him fight.
Yeah, and you know what? I've interviewed him before on the show, and it just wasn't like this. His voice sounds totally different. Shout out to Sticky Paws and these beautiful Shure mics because he sounded different. And I swear he even looked different, right? Like, I don't know. Maybe the hair is... I feel like the hair isn't new, but it just... I don't know.
It's different from his box rec pick.
Yeah, definitely different. He looks Puerto Rican in his box rec pick, for sure. Like he just came off the Isla. We got Fred Robinson with another one. He says, we forget WBC gave Canelo a vacant title at 68. Yeah, but we forget that WBA gave one to Anthony Joshua.
I don't think anyone forgot. I mean, it was definitely mentioned earlier that the reason he had to take the Yildirim fight was because Yildirim had already been waiting for a while. And so in order for the vacant title to be on the line against Callum Smith in San Antonio, December of 2020, he had to take the Yildirim fight shortly thereafter. I mean, he fought 3 times in a 12-week span, or it was an 18-week span or 16-week span, that is. So, you know, nobody's forgetting that it was a vacant title. Obviously, Callum Smith had the WBA, right? So both titles were on the line, but I don't think anybody's forgetting that, as it was mentioned earlier in the show.
Yeah, man, I definitely didn't forget it, but I think that we forget other people, right? There was just another vacant title kind of unification that just went down like this. This is kind of the normal. When you're a name, the sanctioning body looks for a way to get involved. But, I mean, look, think about it. Right now, Benavidez is getting an interim title when there's not a reason. Canelo hasn't announced the fight, so he's not busy. Why are you giving that division an interim title list when he's the mandatory, he's the champion? It's simple. Big Matthews in the UK says, Billy Joe Saunders schools old Triple G. And I guess that's like sly emoji maybe? I don't know. Plant gets credit, but not Billy Joe Saunders. And then he puts the mad emoji. Yeah, I don't think Billy was winning, though.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I felt like a lot of people were. I was there.
You felt like a lot of people thought Billy was winning?
Yeah, I mean, I being there ringside, a lot of the media sitting around me felt that Billy was winning. I did not. And to be fair, I did have a few Brits, a few guys from across the pond. So maybe, you do have some of that, favoritism or what have you. And I guess the same could be said with me and Canelo, right? But, I did feel that a lot of people felt Billy was winning. He was landing some big shots. I didn't see it that way, but I did feel like it was a close fight up until the time of the stoppage. And same thing with Caleb Plant. A lot of people, I know BT Sport had Caleb Plant winning at the time of the knockout.
I mean, isn't BT biased?
But who would they be biased to?
To the Brit. What the hell?
No, Caleb Plant.
I said Caleb Plant.
Oh, shit. Well, I understood Billy Joe.
I don't know. It sounds nothing alike.
I know.
But no, BT had Caleb Plant winning at the time of the stoppage. So, the knockout that is. So, it is what it is. I think Super Mex said it earlier. No matter what it is that Canelo does, there's always going to be those critics, and you're not going to please.
But that's how you know you made it.
Right,
if you're not at the top, people don't criticize what you're doing. It's only when you're the man that they care what it is that you're doing.
They've all gone through it. Everyone who's been the top guy in the sport, they've all gone through this. And Canelo right now is a lightning rod. Anything he does, it's going to be praised by some and criticized by others. So that's just the nature of the business.
Yep. Rider of the Storm. If we talk about business, Charlo or GGG will generate more money, but legacy and difficulty of the fight, it's Bivol or Better Beef. Maul, create your own path. All right. And Fred Robinson back with another one. He says, then how do we bash fighters' resume, then defend the business of boxing, which is keeping resumes from building? I don't think it's the business of boxing keeping resumes from building. It's more about the person that you're with afraid to invest in you. If they're investing in you, look at Alexander Povetkin, notoriously known to get the huge fight, and that's because he had people that were, financially backing him. You know what I mean? He was definitely getting money and winning purse bids and all types of stuff. Trav, that last video came extremely small. Resend that. But I think that is all the super chats. And that's GTO, Instagram, and Twitter. Let me check these phone calls. Who we got on the line? Looking like on, let me see. Who's ready to rock and roll on Skype? I know I got J-Mac with a boomerang, so we're going to go on to you and get this ball rolling. Anyone else that's ready to talk, fall in line, let me know. J-Mac, what up? Are you available?
Yo.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Hey, shout out to whoever that was the interview. I don't remember his name.
Raif Salim.
Yeah, shout out to him. Shout out to that last super chat. And when he said, you guys defend the business side of it, but also attack resumes. I'm confused. And it ain't about what they're willing to invest, because people still got to be willing to accept the fight contract. Canelo is the only cash cow who has been able to get away and do what he do. We don't hold him for what he done. We hold him for what he hasn't done, because he's the man. He's the one that makes the decision. He's the one that jumps around for multiple weight classes and makes fighters sit around and wait on him at the same time, which I do critique those fighters for sitting around and trying to wait on Canelo at the same time. But that's their problem. But we're not going to sit up here and act like he's not holding up the sport. But last but not least, it ain't about what you're willing to invest. It's about what because sometimes money and offers always get turned down. Canelo didn't turn down a contract when Andrade was actually on the zone with him. Since y'all
cut it.
Yeah, but it still comes down to money. If you remember the Gennaidy Golovkin Canelo negotiations early on when they wanted him to have a third fight, he kept saying no. But then it was released that there was a contract that he would accept $47 million. So, it's money.
We're also not defending the business of boxing. We're just saying it's a reality. Yeah. No one's defending. I hate the business of boxing, but it is a reality. So No one's defending it.
Yeah, we
It just is what it is.
We can sit here and be mad and not explain it to the casual fan and listener that stumbles across the show, but we choose to tell them what's going on and the reason why it's going on. We got Brandon Lenz that says, WBA is next in the undisputed rotation for Canelo, but will the WBA continue reducing the belts and make regular champ Morrell versus super champ Canelo? Hell no. You know that. But I tell you one guy that will be happy if they do that, Luis de Cubas Jr., because that's also his fighter. Plant, Benavidez, and David Morrell.
I just, we've heard the comments like Canelo has made him to Andre like, oh, you're a horrible fighter. Who have you beat? We've heard Eddie Reynoso question Benavidez's resume and who he has fought. Well, if that's the case with those top level fighters, two-time world champion Bubu Andrade, technically two-time world champ David Benavidez, what would it be with the guy like David Morrell who has a handful of fights? Like what have you done to earn not just the opportunity but that pay?
If he doesn't prove to be a draw, he's not even in the conversation.
Right.
The person that brings him up to Canelo may get fired. But listen, that's everybody. George, where can they find you?
G Jakovic, Jakovic on Instagram, Facebook.
You also have a YouTube channel where you do.
I do.
One round with George Jakovic.
Yes,
right?
it's one round with George. It's 3 minutes, and it's not a rundown of every fight that happened and every fight that's going to happen. It's some fights that catch my eye. It's some things I've been through in my career, and it's just in 3 minutes. It's quick, it's short, and
easy to consume.
It's easy to consume, and also, as I was a producer for a long time at HBO, and I'm still a producer. There's always someone who wants to change your work. There's always someone who, take this out, put that in. I can do this, and no one tells me what to do, and I just do what I want to do in it.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Absolutely. I am your co-host, Ringwalk Danny, on all platforms. And, for other people watching this, we will be back here in a few hours.
4 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central. We're back for the flagship Thursday show where we make our previews.
6 o'clock Central. 4 p.m. Pacific.
Yeah, Central, 6 o'clock. So we're back with the flagship show where we make our previews and predictions. Are there any fights? Yes, Jacob's Rider is the only fight for this weekend. So
You guys are workhorses, man. Do you ever take time off?
Vacation. But I haven't had a vacation in like 3 years since COVID. But it worked out, man. Save a lot of money. I didn't know how much money I spend on vacation. It's a lot of spending. But yeah, you're looking up the schedule? You don't believe? There's like there's only a UK card. I'm pretty sure.
That's
Let me double check ESPN schedule.
See, I go to Dan Rayfield's Facebook page for my boxing schedule.
Oh, really?
Indeed.
And what does he bring to the table?
You're right. Yeah.
No, I'm asking like, what is the difference between his schedule and let's say ESPN, who is stating that in London, February 12th, Daniel Jacobs take on John Ryder. That's the only fight of the weekend, fellas. It's a big card, but, the biggest name on the undercard is Felix Cash.
There is.
Hopi Price is back. Austin Ammo Williams is back. Johnny Fisher in the heavyweight division is back. Not a bad couple names there.
Card.
There's a ESPN Plus card as well.
Where?
On Friday.
On the 11th.
On the 11th.
But that's also in London. That's a Frank Warren card, bro.
So for those, who want to see Lee McGregor.
Nah, we're not doing that. We watching Fight Stars TV on Friday, bro. We got our own fights in Tijuana, Mexico.
The beautiful thing about it is that those fights will be over before the Fight Star TV's fights even start. So if anybody out there wants to watch the ESPN Plus show, see Lee McGregor and company back, and then you can come over here and watch the Fight Star card from TJ.
There you go. Well, we are out. Travis, you can end it. Find me on Instagram and Twitter, NesGTO. Arrivederci.